Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Third Fleet podcast. Before we begin this episode properly, I would just like to provide you with a little bit of additional context into how this episode was recorded, because otherwise it might be a little bit confusing. You see, we recorded this particular episode of the Third Fleet podcast in 2 sessions, and the reasoning behind this is because Capcom announced that they were releasing a new mobile game in the form of Monster Hunter Now. When this happened, Gaijin reached out and he said we should record a podcast and talk about this. And I was so excited to record a podcast that I didn't even realize that on the very next day we were going to have Title Update 5, and anyone that was going to listen to this podcast was going to expect us to talk about Title Update 5. So we recorded a whole episode ahead of Title Update 5, and then when I realized after the recording, like, oh, damn, tomorrow's Title Update 5 and everybody's going to expect us to talk about it, I went ahead and I pestered Gaijin until he eventually accepted to record an addendum, which I actually placed at the end of the podcast. So the first part of the podcast, so to say, is us talking about, random topics that we wanted to talk about, and then tackling the subject of Monster Hunter Now, and speculation for Title Update 5, and speculation for Monster Hunter 6. And then when we get to the tail end of that discussion, I introduced the post-Title Update 5, where we go into great detail about Amatsu and all of the stuff that was added with Title Update 5. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this one because Gaijin actually came back to the game. He's playing on the Switch. I actually played twice with him already, as well as Yuna also got back into it, at least for a little bit. So it was really cool, but it did made it so that the structure of the podcast was a little bit weird. There's still going to be chapters and all that stuff. So for you guys that prefer to jump around, if you happen to be on YouTube, because I don't know how to do chapters on the other services that the podcast is going to be in. But without any further ado, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the episode. I do have one more thing that I want to add here, and that is... Hey, Aurora, we're going to be recording episode 75 of the Third Fleet podcast, and I want you to do the intro. Go ahead.
Welcome, hunters, to the 75th episode of the Third Fleet podcast. It is I, Aurora the Hunter, the most skilled and talented hunter in all of the land. Today, we shall delve into the depths of monster hunting and explore every facet of our beloved game. With me as always are the hosts of this podcast, Rurikhan Gaijin Hunter. But let's not waste any time and get right into the hunt.
Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter, and you're listening to the Third Fleet podcast. Yes, you heard that right. This is episode 75. It's been a long 2 months since our previous episode, but we have a bunch of miscellaneous topics, but this time also a lot of Monster Hunter to discuss as well. Rurikhan, it has been way too long. How are you doing?
I am sick. It's fantastic. I caught a cold doing a real-life passage of arms for my family, and,
Oh, gosh.
It is what it is, but it's good to be back. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, but naturally, there's going to be timestamps for everything that we discuss in this in case you guys want to skip forward through different topics and whatnot, because there is going to be Monster Hunter discussion a little bit further into the podcast, but we got to start by checking in with Gaijin's situation on Final Fantasy XIV, because if I don't let him talk about Final Fantasy XIV for a little bit, he's going to explode or something.
Yeah, I mean, the love affair continues. What can I say? It's been 16 months and 4,900 hours later, I'm still lapping it up like a dog. But, we've hit a good point where we've kind of run out of, not things to do, because there's always something to do, but I mean, we're kind of just cruising, making money, waiting for the next big update, but we're still playing daily and having fun. But yeah, things are good in Eorzea.
I gotta pester
the next.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we got the next raid tier coming up at the end of next month. I think it's gonna be like one of the final weeks of May, and I'm very, very excited for that.
I have to pester the two of you to come do deep dungeons with me eventually when I get a little bit of time, because I haven't really gotten through Eureka Orthos yet. I've done a lot of Palace of the Dead, but I never went to the very last floor, and I also never did the very last floor, whatever is the other one, Heaven on High. Yeah. One of these days I got to pester you. We got to go do that at least, because I quit raiding in Final Fantasy XIV. Not raiding, Savage rating. I quit Savage rating in Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh no.
I think the team is going in a direction that I'm not particularly interested in. Like I was doing the static thing where we were playing about 2 hours 3 times a week, and it doesn't feel like that is what Savage rating is designed for anymore. That's the way that I feel once I got to P8S. Like I had a fantastic time all throughout P1 until P7S. Then P8S was absolutely miserable. And then I was watching some videos from Xenos. And Xenos is like giga hardcore raider, like friggin' 16 hours a day, whatever. Whenever there's a new raid tier, he's on it nonstop until it gets cleared. And the thing that the development team was saying is like the Omega Protocol, which is the latest ultimate that they released, which is the top tier difficulty of the game, was going to be easier than Dragon Song Reprise, which was the one before that. And Xenos, who technically speaking is one of the people towards which this content is kind of aimed for, Xenos was like, this fight is miserable. And I was like, so
no
wait a minute.
one seems to enjoy it.
So if even the people who are the most hardcore about raiding in Final Fantasy XIV don't like the top tier encounters that the team is working on, I'm just like, I'm already not having fun in P8S. I don't think P8S is a fun encounter. I think that the mechanics don't make any sense if you want to do blind prog. I think that if you go and you watch the strategies, then it kind of, sure, you can figure it out and you can get it done. But I think that if you're trying to blind, if you're, okay,
if
maybe
you don't
not
have
get
a
it
static,
done.
come on, like people are so bad at that fight. I mean, it is meme central. It's horrific.
For reference, in case anybody is wondering, my static, we were progressing the second part of the second. What's the name of the mechanics in the second phase? The one
You're
with the
natural alignment, high concept.
High concept 2. We're either doing high concept 2 or natural alignment 2. It was one of those two that we were currently progging.
If you're doing chemistry class, then it's high concept.
Yeah, to me, it just got to a point where I was just like, listen, I don't want to be playing tic-tac-toe in my character's head whilst also doing a pitch-perfect rotation. It's not particularly entertaining for me. And it's
it must be natural alignment then, because like High Concept 2 is a part of the fight that I absolutely adore, but it's a really fun
it's
puzzle
the one
game,
where you have
you can't attack during it, so you don't have to worry about rotation.
It's the one where you had to set up to do the Ifrits or whatever, and there was
you can't attack. You're not doing damage during that phase. There's no
so you're just playing tic-tac-toe. But yeah, I got tired of playing tic-tac-toe.
It's so fun until you get you spend, for some reason it takes Party Finder like 7 hours to do one clear, even though it's like a no meme, focus, everybody must be good type of run, and they just suck, and it's just soul crushing when you're really good at the fight, because I've done it so many times, and I would bet money on me doing like the second part or even the first part without a mistake. Maybe not the most perfect DPS, but good. But like people, man, it's just like first 5 seconds someone's dying to Snake 1, and at the very end there's an easy mechanic, and it's just people can't count, they lose focus, and it's soul crushing. So yeah, I'm kind of done with Party Finder, but it's funny hearing that you are stepping away from the Savage raids, and I'm here about to get ready to recruit for a static for the next tier, and I also have a week and a half vacation coming up at the end of this month, and I'm thinking if I want to do T or not, the Epic of Alexander.
I know what T is. I mean, it's like, hey, look,
for the listeners, come on.
The thing is also the amount of time that you need to dedicate to do those things.
That's at least a 16-hour prog.
Doing it like 2 hours, 3 nights a week, I don't think it's feasible.
Not enough.
I don't think it's anywhere near enough. Particularly in our case, every couple of weeks we would have to take a break because someone would have night shift or something like that, or someone would have real life obligations, and it just doesn't feel like you can actually progress at a good enough pace. It even took us, I felt like, way longer than it should have, but that is because we were blind progging. But yeah, I just think that currently the raid team is developing
pushing
raids
too hard.
It's not about them pushing it too hard.
It's not hard. It's just
I just think that
the way that they're doing it.
they need to figure out, because like, hey, if this is if they're targeting the top 1% of players and these encounters are exclusively for the top 1% of players
and they're not liking it, then there's an issue.
Hey, no, but it's like, to me, that's cool. If that's what you want to do, that's cool. I know that I'm not in the top 1% of players, so I'm bowing out. It's like, hey, you guys go have your fun, do your thing. It's not for me, basically. But, that gave me a lot of time to do other things. So it is what it is. I've been playing No Man's Sky.
Yeah, so I'll just say the themes are good in FF for me. Having lots of fun. New update, new stories, stuff coming in. It's going to be exciting. But I'm hitting that point now where my attention is less focused on it. So I'm starting to reminisce about Monster Hunter, and I'm very excited to play it. And, and people are like, why don't you just go and play Sunbreak? And I'm just kind of like, we'll get into Sunbreak later, but it's like I had a really good time with that game. I don't feel the end game. That's just a personal thing. So why would I want to try to like milk something when I have really good memories? I just kind of want to keep it that way, Don't force it.
We'll talk more about that for sure. Before we go there, though, I wanted to shift this into another topic, which is Final Fantasy XVI's been dropping trailers left, right, and center. Have you been watching those? And don't tell me anything about them, by the way. But
I've been watching all of them. The only thing that I will tell you, which is not a spoiler, is that I'm quite happy that what they are dropping seems to be from like a small slice of the story. I have no idea where they're going to go before release. They might go into like crazy, let's spoil the story. But so far, it's been really just hammering down the bullet points that they've been talking about for a year now. So looks great. I don't particularly want to know anything more about it because I know I'm going to play it from day one. So yeah, put it in my damn veins. It looks good.
Yeah, I actually made a video that will probably have already released by the time that this goes live, where I talk about that. Basically, I'm doing a media blackout for 16, and that is because I have a hard time with a lot of publishers, the way that they just release more and more content. And it's just different when you've seen kind of like a sequence play out in a trailer, and then you start experiencing that sequence in the game, and you're like, well, I already know how this is going to go because I've already seen the cinematic in the trailer. Like, I even gave a specific example where in Xenoblade 2, Nintendo essentially spoiled something. To me, it was a massive spoiler. A lot of people told me, oh, I don't consider this to be that big. To me, it was massive. Yeah. Like, it kind of like one scene that is supposed to be somewhat emotional in the game, it completely destroyed that scene for me. Yeah. Because it was basically revealed in the trailer. They're just like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just trying to watch a trailer over here. What are you doing?
If a trailer is meant to hype you up to want to commit to buying it, then they've already got me. So I don't need to watch the rest of the trailers at this point. And I think I'll probably end up doing the same thing and just sort of like tune out until it's released because I think they've showed me everything they need to get me on board. Like, the combat looks sick. It's like Devil May Cry, and story looks great, I guess. The graphics look fantastic. Like, music great. So like, okay, let's get ready for an experience when it comes out.
I'm pretty much already sold on the game to begin with. So anything that I'm actually kind of like dodging it, because on Twitter you constantly have people posting like little short videos and stuff like that. And I was like, I want none of that. Thank you. I instantly skip over it. I'm like, no. I'm steering clear of everything. I want to experience it.
I will tell you one spoiler. It's the 16th numbered title in the series.
God damn it. How dare you?
How dare I? And it's PlayStation timed exclusive.
I mean,
which is fine because me and you are going to play it together. So we only need one copy. I don't need two.
Yeah, it's like, it does make me a little bit sad. I wish that everybody would get to experience it. But it is what it is. Exclusives are going to be exclusives. And
I would love to get your opinion about a feature in the game, but you probably don't know about it, and I won't go in detail if you don't. But it's just maybe after it's released, like the discussion of how difficulty can be self-adjusted.
I know what feature. I know what feature it is. Is it the rings or whatever? I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's the same thing I see all the time, which are people saying that if you give me the tool to make the game easier, then unless you incentivize me not doing it, then I'm going to use it, and that's a bad thing. I can't control myself. Therefore, your implementation is horrible.
Have they
I'm kind of
mentioned
torn on that?
Have they mentioned how many difficulties the game is going to have?
I mean, there's no difficulty slider. It's just there's a lot of different.
So there's only
accessories that
one
will-
difficulty.
Yeah, one difficulty, but there's a lot of things that you can. It's almost like God mode hacks, right? Like there's certain things that will help you, help you a little bit, or help you a medium amount, or help
But
you like completely.
that's
If you
something-
are just not good at evading, like you can do that.
That's something that they've done with Nier Automata as well. But the thing about that is that it is, I don't think it's necessarily a tool of, I mean, yes, it can affect difficulty, but it takes up like
It's
a slot.
accessibility.
It takes like a slot. So it's like you can have a ring.
Well,
that,
these scenes can get really powerful. I won't tell you the details because
Yeah, but-
they talked about how far they go.
but I'm assuming that like you can get other rings in the game, and because those things are rings. They take up a ring slot. I don't know if you have 2 ring slots, 3 ring slots, whatever, but they take up a ring slot. So let's say, for instance, there's a ring that gives you 10 strength, and then there's a ring that makes you dodge automatically. Okay, you can take the ring that dodges automatically, but if I know how to dodge and I take the ring that gives me 10 strength,
So yeah, I'm sure they're
You
going to
know?
have some more hardcore
That's the-
optimization that you'd want to do, but you can't if you're using the
I mean,
hand holding rings. But I think the idea is great.
Dark Souls does the opposite, where they give you a ring where you take twice the damage.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But
it's
yeah,
like,
the whole difficulty discussion, it's going to be a never ending thing on Twitter. People are always upset about.
What I mean about that one is that the way that they're doing the rings, it doesn't bother me, because there's kind of like a balance to it, where eventually, if you want to have more damage, you'll grab the ring that deals more damage, and if you want to be more defensive, you'll have the ring that makes it more defensive. I don't have a huge problem with these rings, and again, this is based on the very little that I've seen, because I just scroll through things super fast, so I know that there are rings. I know that they do some really crazy stuff that makes the game a little bit easier to play, but I don't think it's a big deal. The big deal would be if you would be able to buy these rings with real money. That's where I would draw the line. That's where I'd be like, no. 1,000,000% no. Get that crap out of here. That absolutely sucks.
Speaking about that, that's a really great segue, isn't it?
It is a really great segue, because as it turns out, and I don't know too much about this, I've seen like a Twitter post about it, and I was absolutely disgusted. But apparently Capcom has implemented some weapons that you can buy that actually do have an in-game effect of some kind on Resident Evil 4.
As far as I know, I'm not fully educated, but as far as I know, it's an in-game mechanic that once you beat the game, if you spend a whole bunch of in-game loot and put in the hours, you can unlock some like secret final upgrades for some of the weapons that make them just like crazy. So it's kind of like sandbox mode, I guess, at that point. But these are just a way that if you want to just skip that grind, you can pay some real money to do it. It's basically taking, the old school cheat codes and making money off of it.
But can you do it before you finish the game?
As far as I know, no, but I'm not gonna bet my money on it. But someone told me that if you could, someone said that I think they said that you can only do it if you've progressed to that stage period. So there is a certain amount of work that needs to be done, but it is kind of like skipping a whole lot of work at the end. But
here's the problem with that, right? There was this dude who said that he finished the game, and he did a lot of the side quests and all of this stuff, and basically he had enough resources to upgrade one weapon.
Yeah, that would be an issue. If they're choking resources to try to push endgame players to do that, that would be an issue for sure. But I mean, let's flip it on, and I'll give you a Monster Hunter example. Like if they had a thing where you get a Safajiva weapon, right? And you could just buy a pack that says, okay, we'll let you just customize and choose what skills you want to put on it, or you can keep doing the fight and re-roll and get it. Would you be against something like that?
1,000,000%. It could potentially even cause me to stop playing the game. I'm not exaggerating. It's that bad. Like, listen, there's a reason I don't play Warframe. It's not just that. but it's one of the big reasons is that basically, and people always give me crap about this whenever I bring up Warframe, but in Warframe, you can essentially, hey, I want to go and I want to buy the most decked out Warframe in the game. You can go and you can do that. Then you're like, okay, now that I have this Warframe, I want to go and now buy the most decked out weapon in the game. And you can do that. And people will say, but you're stupid if you do that because it's PvE. It's all is PvE. I don't know if there's PvP in there or not, but I think it's mostly PvE. But people will tell you, but you're stupid if you do that because it's easy to do in game. And it's like, it doesn't matter. That's the problem. It doesn't matter. If you can spend money to get something in the game that you're supposed to grind for, that is a problem. I have a problem with that. That's the way that I look at it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more loose than you are, I guess, on this stance. I mean, I'm with you with if it changes the game design as a way to funnel people to it, that's a huge issue. But if it's like when you play the game, you're gonna have like 10,000 currency at the end, like that's natural, and they're selling like increments of 100 currency just for people who just want to pay money, and it's kind of laughable, then sure, great. I really don't care, because in the end, if it's not a PvP game, I kind of know where it takes them, which is, like in the old days when we had like the cheat code thingies, right? For entering like Game Genie or whatever, like cheat codes on Super Nintendo games and stuff. And you quickly find out that when you unlock a lot of the stuff, there's like nothing else to do and you end up getting bored of the game. Like you're really just ruining the experience for yourself, but it was a choice, right? And like whatever.
But does that make it
they never
okay?
had it, they didn't plan around it, right? So because that was third party. So the developers never designed a game to say, okay, well, we don't want people using cheat codes, or we want to make sure we sell it so that they want to use it. I think the issue just comes in is if they're affecting their game design, or it's just something we can laugh at and say, hey man, if somebody wants to just, blow the money, like, but it doesn't affect us literally at all, then sure, I can care less.
But that's the problem.
I mean, that's gonna, it's a slippery slope, right?
Once you cross that threshold, I fundamentally have an issue with it, because at that point, let's just face it, publishers are there to make money. Like that's all there is. They're a company. They're there to make money. It is what it is. You buy video games, they're there to make money. And so they're incentivized to make money. And the moment you put in something where it can affect gameplay, you instantly provide yourself with yourself, as in I'm speaking from the company's perspective, you instantly provide yourself with an incentive to make things harder in the game. Let me give you a very specific example. Diablo 3. Diablo 3 had this exact problem wherein, because they had an economy in the form of the auction house, the drops in the game were terrible. They were atrocious. The drop rates were so bad that I was not playing the game to get loot. I was playing the game to get gold to then go to the auction house to buy the loot. And that's when I was like, no, this sucks. This is terrible experience. It's atrocious. And the moment that you implement something like that, it's like, well, it's just to skip the grind. That's basically you're incentivizing yourself to increase the grind to drive people to buy the things.
Okay. Now, I don't play these games that much, but I think you have a good point.
Now, Capcom didn't do this for Devil May Cry 5 because they sold the red orbs in Devil May Cry 5, and I still have a problem with that because it's basically... And people will fold themselves into a pretzel, usually, to justify these things, and it bothers me because it's like, look, I'm a fan of Devil May Cry, I'm a fan of Monster Hunter, I'm still able to criticize these games. It is what it is. But people will fold themselves into a pretzel like, my company can do no wrong, they'll never do anything wrong, and everything is perfect, and shut up, and the red orbs are fine. And it's like, yes, the red orbs didn't bother me when I was playing Devil May Cry 5, but in the back of my mind, you always know you can literally buy resurrections in the game. You can just, with real money, you can buy resurrections in Devil May Cry 5. I don't think that's okay. Some people think that's okay. I don't. I don't think that's cool. You can also just unlock the whole moveset of the character right from the get-go. Because, hey, I'll just buy like 1 million red orbs. unlock all the
it's
movesets.
it's taking the game genie cheat engine
Exactly.
and saying, okay, fine, we'll sell it to you, but I just don't play the games, I guess, that have had that bad examples, because I don't play that many variety games. But I guess you're right. Like if it's them themselves, then they're going to have a bias to try to make those meaningful.
Yeah.
Where if a cheat engine is third party, they won't even think about it.
I just don't think that it's a good thing to be selling. Like, you want to sell skins for Leon or whatever? Sure, go wild. You want to sell skins for the guns? You want to sell like skimpily clad clothing for the female characters? Do whatever you want. It doesn't bother me at all. But the moment that you're actually selling weapons that have an impact in the game, then I have a problem. And I have a problem with pretty much every game that does this, I'm not telling people that they shouldn't play Resident Evil 4, because it seems like, for all intents and purposes, it's a fantastic game. But I will also say that I think it's a little bit shady of Capcom to wait until the review periods are over, people have played the game, people have finished the game, and now here's the micro. I'm like, come on, you know what you're doing. Come on, man. Like, what do you mean? No. That's not right.
Capcom is a company. I adore them, and I love their games, but they're not shy to controversies over how they handle DLC.
Yeah.
So let's not kid ourselves here. But I am playing Resident Evil 4. It's like for me, it's like one of those games. It's like Zelda, where I can have it and really want to play it, but I don't play it unless it's like the perfect rainy day, where I feel like I'm just going to play for 10 hours straight and I'm going to play this game. But I'm on like chapter 3, so I'm doing it like really slow. I've barely touched it, but so far it's been fun. I've never played the original, but the thing is, I hate on me all you want. I'm playing it on like the easy mode, like assist on, you name it. Like I'm just there for the atmosphere and story, and like breaking, very visibly marked barrels with yellow paint. It's so funny, but so far it's fun. Like it's great atmosphere. So
I've heard
they help me line up my headshots all the time. I love it.
I've heard very good things about it, but it's just the Resident Evil is a series that I never really got into that much. Like I've played, which one was it? 7? I forget which one was 7, but I've played 7 in VR the whole way. And that one was, that was hard playing that.
No,
thing in
thank
VR.
you.
Yeah,
that daddy needs to go.
So I played that one in VR. I think I played like 5 with my wife, because it had like co-op and stuff.
You should try 2. The remake for 2 was really good. I never got to play 2 back in the day, but it felt less like the action game genre that it became, and more like the survival horror. It was really good. Good puzzle solving. But see,
that's the thing. One of the things that I don't like about Resident Evil, and this is a very me thing, is how precious you have to be about your bullets. It's like, no, I want to just blast them. I want to miss. And I want to blast everything.
We got a DLC Doom, for that. We've got a DLC for that.
Oh no! Stop.
No, but 2 is really fun. I really liked it. But yeah, just go in easy mode, and man, you will have so much ammo. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but then it just becomes too easy. Anyway,
yeah.
What other games are you excited about that are coming out this year?
I mean, obviously, we talked about Final Fantasy XVI. Looking forward to that. I just love when they quote the gameplay hours. It's like, oh, that's cute. That'll be a weekend.
What are the gameplay hours for 16? I haven't, like I said, I've been media blackouting it.
I want to say, I think they said 35 is average for the critical path, and like 60, 70 if you just want to do everything. So it's not like one of those like superly inflated 200-hour games, which we had back in the day, because we only had 1 or 2 games a year to play. Mm-hmm. So like it sounds good to me.
Yeah, that is good.
And if you get bored of the battle and the real time stuff, just throw on some rings, like go easy. Who cares? Have fun. It's a story. It's a roller coaster. It's a theme park attraction, basically.
Yeah.
Zelda 2.
Zelda 2.
I can't wait for all the phallic structures all over the kingdom, and Gandalf being beaten by,
Gandalf?
or whatever his name is, being beaten by
Ganondorf.
A peepee cannon.
Oh God. No,
I did see though that. Are you on a media blackout for that or no?
No. Those I'm watching because it doesn't seem like the game is going to be. How should I put this? It's not going to be that different from Breath of the Wild. It's going to have like brand new gameplay mechanics and all of that stuff.
It looks like
so. I'm more interested in seeing the
game.
gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks unbelievable. And the fact that they have all those combinations, and if it lives up to the promise, which is huge of what it's shown us, then, oh man. This is like, if Aonuma-san wants to hang up and say, okay, that's my last Zelda, I think he could be proud of it. It looks really fun. It looks like witchcraft that it's running on the Switch.
Yep.
I'm sure it'll play really good on the Switch too. But then again, I have no faith in Nintendo anymore these days. So,
damn.
I don't. Like, they could just milk the Switch for another 10 years and I wouldn't be shocked. Like, I just really don't think that they are very consumer friendly.
I think they're. I mean, there's a whole story behind Nintendo recently where they're going after creators because of mods and stuff. But publishers in general are not. Most publishers have a history when it comes to mods. They're not super friendly when it comes to mods, unless it's like Bethesda, where they're like, "Hey, our game's so busted. If you guys can mod it and fix it for us, that'd be great."
Yeah, but it looks great. I can't wait to play it.
I'm gonna make like a Gigamech. It's like, listen, I have Armored Core 6 at home, okay? It's called Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna make like, you see the little mech they made? He had like a little arm with the cannon or something. I was like, what the hell is this, dude? It looks like it'll be really fun. I want to make like a crazy looking mech. Yeah. Just having a blast with those crazy systems that you can do. And there was even a part in one of the trailers where basically he had set up a structure that he put on top of one of the bokoblin camps or whatever. He shoots it and he just shoots out a bunch of lasers. And I'm like, wow, so you're literally just chain farming this one camp. You even set up structures where you're just running through, okay, I'm going to take, boo, farm this camp, boo, farm that camp, and everything just dies.
I love it. The idea of just letting people have that freedom to just screw around and have fun was one of the things I loved about the first game. And this looks like more of it and then some. So I don't care so much for the story. I mean, Zelda is really kind of your own adventure. So, I mean, Zelda has to wait as we screw around on the world having fun.
Yep. Pretty much.
And then we eventually get around to some cool boss fights and we beat her. But I was noticing Gandalf, it's not Gandalf. Ganondorf. Jesus, we're going to get some hate comments in the video for this one.
Yes, you keep calling him Gandalf. It's not going to work.
What? Well, his name is Ganon, right?
Yeah, Ganon.
But I didn't say that, did I?
You said Gandalf. From Lord of the Rings, Gandalf the White.
Jesus. But I imagine they were showing pictures. I guess there was a new render of him, and people are like, "Oh no, he's hot." But it all makes sense because they also announced that Matthew Mercer is voicing him, and he's got a beautiful voice. So.
Okay.
We get to have a sexy villain. That's good. Maybe we'll get some redemption arc for him. I doubt it. He's the classical bad guy. I will say, though, and this might sound... As I don't know how the game's going to play, right? And I could be wrong. But I think if they don't make Zelda playable in this, that it's a missed opportunity. I think there's something to be said about... I don't think it's poison and I should go out boycotting it or anything, but like I think the whole man rescuing the poor princess is kind of an antiquated idea I'm kind of bored with. It's like I'm sure she can hold her own shit, and I would love to see a more empowered princess, but
I mean, they have...
it is what it is.
They have the Hyrule Warriors series for that. You can play Zelda. You can play all the characters in the Zelda franchise, and you can beat the crap. You can even play Ganondorf if you want to. It's like you have the Hyrule Warriors.
She's got a haircut that looks just like my Warrior of Light. Oh my God, just dye it white. Let me play Zelda.
That's why you want to play. That's why you want to play Zelda. No,
actually, I just really don't like.
You don't like Link,
the princess. No,
you don't like
Link's fine. He's funny.
Okay, you're scaring
me
there. I
like watching his ass shiver his ass off when you took off his clothing in the frozen sections and stuff, or his little This little, non-muscle pose, like, yeah, look at these pythons, He's fun. I mean, I don't mind him. It's just I'd love Zelda to be a little bit more active in these games. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a surprise part of the game. I doubt it, but it'd be nice.
We'll see how that pans out.
But Zelda, man, I tell you, I think I mentioned it once on an older podcast, but I'll never forget just playing Zelda 1 with Yuna. It was such a fun thing, and I remember the moment she lost her shit when we were going up in the desert onto the temple, and you had the bird and you were flying and you had to try to break in onto the top of the Guardian, and it was just such a cinematic, just like high gas moment. Like we were so excited, we were jumping off our chairs. It was so good. And any gaming moment shared with a family member is a golden experience.
I have a friend of mine who's told me that I should play Skyward Sword ahead of this because I did buy Skyward Sword for the Switch, but I haven't played. You ever played Skyward Sword? No?
No, Zelda's a weird one. I don't play most of the games. I like them, but they're really ones that I feel there's a mental tax into going into play them. So something about them, I'll own them for like a year and I won't touch them, and then I'll just binge it and I'll be like, this is amazing.
I played, which one was it? It was Twilight Princess was like one of the first Zeldas that was the first one that I finished? I think Twilight Princess was the first Zelda that I finished on the Wii. I friggin' loved it. I was like, this thing is amazing. It's really good. And there's a lot of people that don't like Twilight Princess for some reason. I'm like, dude, it's amazing. Link turns into a wolf? What are you talking about? It's awesome. But yeah.
Man, you know what helped me though? I had a period in my life where I was stuck in a hospital for a week because I had to get a spinal tap because I had what's the name of it? I forgot the name of the sickness, but I had something bad, and they had to make sure that there was no fungal infection or whatever in my spinal fluid. So they gave me a spinal tap. I couldn't lift my head. I couldn't do anything for like a week. I was stuck in a hospital bed. And the thing that got me by was I had a 3DS and Ocarina of Time, and I had never played it before. And man, did I have a blast with that. That was good.
I actually booted up Ocarina of Time last night on the Switch just to check it out, and I was like, ooh.
Meningitis. That was the thing. Meningitis.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thoughts.
So I really want to play that other spooky game that they did, and I never
Majora's
got
Mask?
around to it. Yeah, should I play it? I should.
I don't know. I never finished it. I played it a little bit on the 3DS, but I never finished. I think that in order for me to enjoy Ocarina of Time, I should play the remaster, which I have bought for 3DS. I just wish they would just release all of these things on the Switch appropriately. Like just give me like a remastered version of Ocarina of Time. Come on, it can't be that hard. But
here's one game I'm looking forward to that you probably aren't and you don't know anything about. But today they just announced the 19th entry into the Toho Project series is coming out this summer. Kamiket. Bullet Hell, baby. I can't wait.
The waifu Bullet Hell game, right?
Yes. So they're going to have a new one coming out, so I'm excited. I'm probably going to go and go to the...
Is that a mobile thing, or is that like a PlayStation thing or a Switch thing?
No, it's Windows. Just
it's
Windows PC.
Okay.
Yeah, and he has it on Steam lately as well. They released the game. They're super cheap. It's just one guy who makes them. They're great. So I'm excited about that. Elden Ring DLC. That's my current background actually for my computer. Is the beautiful 4K whatever image that they had. That's another one. I don't even need to know anything about it. Like, they've got my money. I throw it at them. I'd pay them twice as much if it helps.
I suspect that we're only going to be getting that in 2024. Because I think that this year they want to focus on Armored Core 6, which is the one that I'm really excited about. I don't know if you're excited about that one or not, but...
Yeah, and I know there was some rumors going around, I think, online about the Elden Ring DLC, saying that there was some shit that was going on between From Software and Bandai Namco, like maybe there was a budgeting problem or something. I don't know, but there was some really weird, like, offhand comments made apparently, where it's just like it wasn't like there's something going on, but whatever it is, it seems like they probably fixed it. So I'm just excited for it because I never played the old Hunters DLC for Bloodborne, but like watching the quality of I know, but
go play it.
I'd already moved on.
No,
the content, I've watched it, I've seen the fights, the music, everything about it is like, this is like the opus on top of the cake. Like, it's just like...
Except for Orphan of Cause, okay? Orphan of Cause can go die in a fire. I hate that boss.
But the Ludwig, you like him.
I'm actually just joking. It was mostly because of the build that I did when I went through the DLC the first time. I made an arcane build, and Orphan of Cause is giga resistant to arcane, so I screwed myself over. But yeah, other than that,
but the fact that Sony's not remaking that, like, that's just shows how stupid they are. So
yeah, they should have given it like the Demon Souls treatment. I thought that would have been. I mean, they don't even have to remake it. To be honest, they just have to like up-res it and
fix the frame pacing a little bit, give it a better FPS.
Up-res it, 60 FPS, good to go. You don't even need to touch it because the visuals are fine. Yeah. Just up-res it, 60 FPS, good to go. Boom, done.
That's the game that made me buy a PlayStation 3. I bought a monitor and a PlayStation 3 just for that game. And
PlayStation 3.
4. Sorry. 3 I bought just because I wanted it. 4 is what I bought it for. And it was so worth it. Just for that one game, it was worth it. That was good.
Other things that I'm excited about this year would include Jedi Survivor, which is actually going to be coming out pretty soon.
Uh-oh.
Diablo.
How does that fit in with the schedule? Because like the next 2 months are just like going to be crazy.
Yes, indeed. I don't know. Like what do you want from
Struggling
me?
From success. There's too many damn games.
There's too many good games, and I still need to get to like higher higher Anomaly rank. Dude, I have so much. And I've even gotten like addicted to No Man's Sky recently. So it's just like,
oh no.
There's so many good things.
Damn good games.
And I've been playing Hollow Knight too on the channel. So there's tons of stuff. But Jedi Survivor I want to play, Diablo 4, Armored Core 6, and Remnant from the Ashes 2.
Remnant from the Ashes. What is that?
Yeah, it's Dark Souls but with guns.
Is it good?
Not.
I imagine. Who makes it?
Gunfire Games, I think they're called. No, the first one was pretty good, but they botched the DLC really bad because they made DLC for the first one, and it was pretty much unplayable on PlayStation 4. Like when I say unplayable, I'm talking like the last boss of that game of the DLC.
10 FPS.
It had so much FPS issues that I couldn't shoot it, like you couldn't do the mechanics of the boss. And so I had a player who was watching my stream, and he came in to help me and Kegrin to defeat the boss. And this guy, the reason he was able to defeat it was because he could just ignore the mechanics because he was so powerful. He was already over leveled.
Yeah.
So he powered through the boss, and then the game crashed.
No.
So it's like I actually blue screened out of the boss, essentially. And so that was my experience with the Remnant from the Ashes DLC, which was pretty friggin' bad.
Oh, man. Yikes.
Okay, so...
How about Wild Hearts? I'm curious about. Like, how that's a game that people keep asking me, hey, what's your thoughts on it? And I've shared my thoughts that, most people seem like they're having a ball with it. Like, especially a lot of the Monster Hunter players and creators that I know, everyone seems to really like it and, and say that there is... I know that there was some technical jankiness, which I unfortunately was a victim of because I play an Xbox, and I tried it early in its life cycle, so I know that they've done several patches since, but my just not feeling the vibe of the world has not gotten me over that push to go back to try it again. But like, what's the state of Wild Things or Wild Hearts?
Wild Things.
Wild Things.
Okay, so here's the situation on Wild Hearts from my opinion, and take it with the experience of someone who played the whole game. on PlayStation 5. I played a little bit of it on PC, but very, very little. I mostly focused my experience on PS5. And my thoughts are the game was very much undercooked. The developers were probably pressured to release it earlier than they should have, which is a shame because I think that overall I greatly enjoyed the experience. But there are a lot of bugs that, not really bugs, but like performance issues more so than bugs necessarily, that really hampered things. In my case, I got the slow motion bug at around 60 hours of gameplay, which was like, I had already done my video saying my opinions on the game and all that. Then 60 hours in, I'm like, what the hell is this slow motion nonsense? Because people were complaining about it already. Some people had sound problems. Apparently, the slow motion was a thing on PC since the beginning. And it's just like performance is super inconsistent across all platforms.
Yeah, you got me. I was missing all ambient occlusions. So when I walked up to a little place with like a lake, it was just pure white. And like everything looked like it was PS1 texture. Like there was nothing to it. It's like it never loaded in. It was pretty bad.
That might have been specifically about the demo because I never got around to playing the demo. I just played the actual game. But essentially, or did I play the demo?
When it
I
works,
actually don't remember.
it works really good.
I don't remember if I played the demo or not actually, but whatever. I played what I've played of the game. I greatly enjoyed. I did not like the fact that I had the slow motion problems, but currently they solved that. At least it seems like on the PlayStation 5 version because I no longer have slow motion problems.
Nice.
The game runs fine. No real like big issues to report other than the fact that it's weird that the game looks the way that it does, which is, it looks all right. It doesn't look like super impressive, but it's only able to run at 1080p to get 60 FPS. You can run it at 4K, but that brings in a whole host of its own problems with some ghosty textures that show up on some of the monsters. It gets a little bit weird. So I mostly run it on performance mode, and that for me is running okay. Now, the thing about Wild Hearts is that I enjoyed my experience of it all the way to the end. I did not like the final boss because, it's one of those friggin' Chinese-looking dragons that's just flying all over the place, and you're just like, okay, sure, whatever. You basically have to wait for very specific openings to be able to actually capitalize on. And it just reminded me...
It's like the Minecraft. It's the end dragon from Minecraft. It just flies around and...
It reminded me more so of like the first time that I did, like for instance, in Months on a Rise, friggin' Narwa. And it's like, as a Gunlance player, that fight sucked.
Lord.
That fight friggin' sucked, okay? And in that game, I was playing the Umbrella. It was also not that great to fight that boss with that specific weapon. But in terms of everything after that, because after that is when you get started with the end game and you have the volatile kimono. And the way that it works is like this. You have volatile kimono and deeply volatile kimono. So the volatile kimono...
Wait, are you talking about a kimono? Like an outfit?
Kimono is the name of the monsters. They're called kimono.
Why does everybody say kimono?
How am I supposed to say it?
No, it's funny because I think the game also gets it wrong in some parts if I'm not mistaken. But kimono is like the garb.
Yes.
And
How you're
kimono
supposed to...
is the monster. Kimono. I don't know why they call it kimono. It's so dumb.
But so you have volatile kimono and deeply volatile kimono. And the idea was that you would do volatile kimono. That would give you tickets that would then enable you to take on deeply volatile kimono.
It sounds like the deviant system.
Yes, indeed. And so the volatile kimono were not that hard. Personally, I didn't think. So they were just like a little bit of a step up, almost like tempered monsters, essentially.
Yeah.
And then you'd get the tickets to go fight the really challenging stuff, which supposedly gives you like materials for layered armor, which I didn't really care for that much. Because once I fought my first deeply volatile, I was like, I'm only fighting these guys once. I'm not coming back and doing this again because I don't like it. I just didn't like it because the whole idea behind it is you have very strict timing. which I think is either 20 minutes, 15, or 25, something like that. It's shorter timing than you would usually have, and they are, like, their stats are through the roof.
Overtuned.
I wouldn't say overtuned. I think that's their intention. They want it to be super challenging. The problem is...
it's just visual? You don't actually get, like, a weapon you can use? Or armor?
No. You get nothing like that from those. I believe that currently there's a new system which allows you to limit break the weapons, and you get materials from the deeply volatiles that also help you limit break the weapons, but you can also just get those materials from volatile kimono. But so my idea was like, I just want to kill these once, and then I'll be good. So I went through and I did the progression of killing all of them. And the more I fought the deeply volatile kimono, the less I liked them, because to me, they really were made to be a super hard thing. And for a lot of players, they're looking for a reward. Me, I'm usually looking for the hard things, but I don't like the limitations that they give you, which is like you can cart once and then you're done. A lot of these monsters will straight up have one-shots. So it's like you make one mistake, you're done. And, you know, it just became frustrating to the point where, to give you an idea, there's one of them, which is the lurid soul stalker. And he's this ice wolf, right? And what do? These monsters, deeply volatile, they're not like regular monsters. They don't move areas. They have their one area and they only fight there. It's like an arena. And so this lurid soul stalker is inside a kill box, inside a building. It's a very small building, and he's a wolf on crack cocaine. Like, he's just like jumping all over the place, doing everything super fast. And on top of it, he has this spinning attack that one-shots you, and he stays spinning for like a good 10 seconds. It's like, it's like spinning around, and if he touches you once, that's a one-shot. And I got very frustrated in that monster. So essentially what I did was I went back and I just built armor for defense. So I'm like, okay, so he's an ice monster. I'm building I don't even care about the other skills that the armor has. Just give me maximum ice defense. And then I killed it because he wasn't able to one-shot me anymore. But I'm just like, I don't think that's particularly interesting.
Yeah.
Just be like, ignore all the other skills, give me all defensive stuff, and then I'll do it. Unless you're, much more skilled.
That I would think that the final tier of monsters would be ones that require really sophisticated karakuri use.
I mean, there's also that you can use, because you can stop the spinning attack with the wall if you're fast enough. But that's where you get into the other problem, which is when you get to the final tier of monsters, and this is my personal opinion, the karakuri is not accurate enough for the level of
precision that you need.
For the level of precision that the developers expect from you. So like, for instance, sometimes you'll start building the wall, and for some reason, instead of it placing the blocks in front of you, it will place them like this. And then instead of a wall, you build like a triangular thing, and the wall won't come out. And you're just like, crap, I'm screwed, because that won't block the attack, right? And not just that, but there's another example. So at the end of the game, I stopped using the parry weapon, which was the Wagasa. And I started using the hammer weapon because it was easier to use for the tougher monsters and all of that stuff. So with that weapon, there's a specific karakuri that basically launches you towards the monster. And once it launches you towards the monster, your character does a jump at the end, and that gives you a special attack. With the maul, that attack is super powerful. So it's a super powerful move. But the performance of the stake karakuri is like super inconsistent. Sometimes your character grabs onto the monster for no reason. Other times your character does a regular jumping attack. And only every now and then will it actually do what it's supposed to do. And that is very like the deep volatile monster before the one that I was talking about, which was like the Grim Shard, whatever. It's like this hedgehog looking thing. The one time that I killed him was simply because the stake karakuri worked 3 times in a row. It worked as it was supposed to 3 times in a row, and I won. Like, that was it. I was like, dude, come on. If you
Man,
expect that level of performance from a player, you have to be able to deliver that level of precision from the controls of the game. Yeah, because otherwise there's a problem. But yeah, it's like I still really like the game. I think the game is a lot of fun. I think it was definitely worth my time, and I'm gonna keep up with it. But I don't like the direction that they're going in. Of basically every new monster that comes out is just a one-shot fest. That's it. It's just a one-shot fest, and if you can't dodge the one-shots, you're done. And it's not particularly fun.
People need to go back to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Or was it for Ultimate or was it Generations Ultimate, where the G rank or the high rank Pink Rathian was just on cocaine as well. It was just like, oh my god, and she just trounced us all. I can't remember which one that was. I don't know if you remember. I think it was for you. Like just all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, what happened to this thing? It was so fast. Every timing you thought you knew, nope, throw it away.
Yeah,
but that double somersault thing, the fake out, it was great.
But it's like I feel like the patterns of those monsters have a bigger wind up.
We know them too well, right?
No, and they have a bigger wind up. There were a lot of attacks, even with the most recent monster that they put in the game, which isn't even a deeply volatile, where there's almost no wind up to a one-shot attack.
No,
and it's like, I mean, what do you mean? It's like you have to be able to read it instantly and do something to prevent the one-shot. And it's like, it doesn't feel... And the way that I overcame that, because like I killed the monster solo, then afterwards I needed to farm it, so I was just like, okay, let's get 2 more people in here and just brutalize these monsters. And that was it. I just brutalized it in multiplayer because that's the easiest way of doing it.
Nice. Well, if anybody is listening and they want to let me know in the comments section whether or not the Xbox Series X version has gotten improved, whether it's the demo or the retail game, let me know. I'm not horribly interested in the world setting of that game, but I would, if they've done a lot of improvements, then I owe it to at least try it out because so many of my peers really enjoy that game. So I
think it's at the very least playing it through all the way is really fun. Yeah. But once you get to the end game, it's going to be hit or miss depending on whether you like it or not. But I like
that's fine.
The progression.
I'm actually, we'll talk about that when we get to Sunbreak, but I'm fine with that. If the critical path is enjoyable, then I'm satisfied.
I liked it a lot. I even liked the story. I don't think the story like blew me away or anything, but it was interesting. It was a neat story, and it was serviceable. I think it was fine. And again, this is a game that in a lot of ways I hope does well because I want to see what they do afterwards with it. Because it was definitely a good entry. Or maybe even follow it up with like Tokiden 3 with the learnings that you grab from this game. And Tokiden 3 would be like a fantastic title. But we'll see. But they definitely need to work on improving on their performance and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm going to give you a bet right now. I'm watching Yuna's in a Room, a 3 million gil bounty for helping someone clear P8S. And they're just hitting now Dominion after the Phoenix. Will they clear it or not? What odds do you give her?
Dominion.
It's the final
P8S?
mechanic.
Oh, okay. Then I have no idea. Maybe they'll clear
I'm going to say she does it.
And if they're that far in, I'm going to assume they'll clear it.
You'd be surprised, man. Oh my god, it's a crapshoot. Yeah, one thing she's been addicted to is, and me as well, is these bounty rooms. When people are they just want quality, hunters. They'll say, "Fine, I'll pay you guys hundreds of millions of gil to just help me."
3 million gil does not seem like that much to deal with P8S personally.
Oh no, it's fine for us. I mean, as long as the other people are good, PHS is a 20-minute excursion. It's a treasure map. But oh man, she's so close. She's on the last. I'm sorry, I can't focus while I'm watching. This is the side. The final towers are going out. No one's on the third tower. Oh, he made it. He made it. She's got her tower. Good girl. She's so fucking good at this game. Hi, Jiko shutteru. She's like, "Are you talking about me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm giving live commentary." Yes. Kill it. Yeah, she got it. Okay, good for her. I hope the person actually pays and doesn't bail, but generally people are pretty good about it, so because they can get banned if they don't. Anyway, sorry, my attention was blown.
It's
watching
fine.
my proud father moment, watching my little warrior of light kick ass. It's so good.
Okay, so Monster Hunter Rise
Monster
Sunbreak.
Hunter. Hello, everybody who hit the time jump and decided to join in here. We just had an entire hour just talking about random latest games, thoughts and feelings about a bunch of stuff. But if you did the jump, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the Monster Hunter section of the podcast. So, have you played any Rise Sunbreak at all over the last couple of months?
I don't.
Crickets.
Hang on.
Crickets.
What was the last monster they added? Was it Flaming Nespinos? Or?
No, it was Chaotic Gore Magala, I think.
Oh yeah, okay. So yes, I did that. I did Chaotic Gore Magala.
There's also the Risen Elders that they've added. I don't think
no,
you did
I
those.
Can't play them. I'm locked out. Yeah.
You can play them. I'm sure you can get somebody to come unlock them for you. Hell, you can get maybe not on PC.
I don't want it.
Can I unlock it?
It's a principle thing at this point.
I probably could.
I'd be too annoyed to even fight him, just knowing that I wasn't allowed in the door to the club if I didn't have the cool friend with me. I just don't like that.
Look, just get the cool friend to go with you. It's fine.
I don't.
Okay.
Screw it.
The club is
Chaotic.
good.
I did play, and he was cool as hell. He was really good. But beyond that, I haven't touched it. But I am actually really excited for tomorrow. As of recording this, is going to be Title Update 5 news. I think if it's not Amatsu, I'm just going to be. They're just delaying it by one more, which would be nice. That means more content for people, but. I think the writing's on the wall that it's Amatsu. I mean, they had the little video that you reacted to, which was funny, which was, hey, I need you to come to Kimura Village, for Furain, and I hate those videos. I can't stand it when an in-world person tries to stay in character and be like, yeah, I got to go to this village. Check out Title Update 5.0. I'm like, fourth wall, come on. Like, you could write around that stuff. You don't have to be so on the nose. But obviously I think, forgot what special investigations were.
Yeah, what are special investigations?
Yeah, do you remember, it's like a mini story. Do you remember, when there was the special investigation for...
Those are special assignments.
Alatrian or...
Those are special assignments, not investigations.
I have no faith that they're consistent with their wording.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that it's going to be a side story that takes place in Kimura. Maybe they're going to revamp, the fact is that they hint that somewhat close to... They hint that it's somewhere close to Kimura, right? So my guess is them taking a boat to whatever that new city's called is... I forgot the names already. That's how bad I am. Kimura is going to be the better place. Not Kimura. Yeah, Kimura. Is going to be the better place to start up a story saying, hey, something going on between us and Yukumo. We need to go check it out, and having an Amatsu story would make tons of sense for me.
We still have
remember, Yomogi's village was destroyed by what I assume is Amatsu, which means that, I don't know. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong, but... I want to see how they do it. It's got to be like they did Fatalis. It's got to be a revamped fight, and I will jump in there.
I mean, they did say that they were doing this voiceover recording and stuff like that. So yeah, it would make sense. But they said special investigations plural. It's not like, oh, we're gonna have this one thing that's going to be one story bit. They said special investigations. So I don't think it's just going to be like.
It would be kind of cool if
line.
they just had a few parts to the thing, right? Like maybe you fight a Zinogre, I don't know, just lead up to it. Like if they did a little thing, that'd be nice.
I don't know. To me, special investigations scream more like repeatable content.
Mechanic, a system.
Yeah, like a system like investigations, except more advanced. But my biggest concern is if that also requires anomaly rank. Because if that requires listen, I'm at 175 right now. I'm coming up there. I'm coming up to the point that I want to get to, but it's taken a long time to get there. Like lots and lots of grind to be able to get to where I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to assume that if they add Amatsu or whoever they're going to add, that it's going to be HR 10 or 15 or whatever it is, so that I can actually participate.
Master
Which
rank.
means or Master Rank. I'll log on right away and play it. Cause
You gonna play it on
PC
PC or on the Switch?
PC probably. There's no point in me playing on the Switch anymore because, I mean, the whole idea there was I thought that maybe me and Yuna would continue. We played it on the Switch, Sunbreak, had a great time. I played the PC version at least to get into the end of Master Rank, but I couldn't do the grind over and over again. I had other things calling me. So I'm excited to see that. I don't feel bad that the end game doesn't resonate with me. I mean, that's not a prerequisite for being an awesome title. So I'm super satisfied with the time I had with Sunbreak. But yeah, I'm interested. What else do you think there might be? Or do you think it's going to be Amatsu? Or do you think it's something else?
I mean, I think it's going to be Amatsu as well. Everything pretty much points towards that. I don't know what else they're going to do. I feel like the end game, even though I like it, I feel like it gets increasingly demotivating when you're trying to get to like a high anomaly rank and you just like you finish a quest and you see the thing raise up by like 30% and you're like, okay. And you're doing like I'm talking about doing a quest chuck full of modifiers, like limited number of players, limited time, limited carts, and then you do that and it's like, boop, here's 30%. And I'm just like, good. And it seems to be getting progressively longer and longer the more I climb it. So yeah, that stuff's been rough, but I'm doing my best to get through it. I'm pushing through on the Switch. Last night I actually went into a bunch of multiplayer rooms, and the multiplayer is very active right now. Like I was getting matched up with people appropriate to the level of anomalies that I was doing super fast. Like I was getting in, I was like, okay, queue me up for something between 165 and 171 or whatever it was that I was at the time. And it would be like, okay, searching, and you're in. Instantly in the quest. I was like, oh, okay. So at least it's going through pretty fast.
I think one thing that might be interesting for me to report on for people is that I'm going to be, if they add Amatsu and you can fight it normally through your master rank cap, like you beat in the game, I will be fighting it without a Qurious melded weapon or armor. And I want to see how it goes because I am just not interested in that system. I have a gear with it, but I want to see how it is to fight it without it, Is it doable? Does it feel like they tanked it? I've talked to death about this. I can't stand the idea that I have a piece of armor from a fire monster and I can make it so that it's super powerful in ice attack and stuff like that. Like changing the attributes destroys, what is the monster then? Just a visual mechanic? Like the personality is just like it.
I'll do you one better. What is the armor? The armor right now in the game, because it's one of my favorite things to do is come up with sets. Right now in the game, every time that I try to think about a set, it's almost like I can't even think too much about it because it all boils down to in my brain, everything can be any. Yeah, exactly. I'm always thinking about, okay, maybe I should get this armor piece. It's like, but it doesn't matter because I can get these things. Yeah.
If everything can be everything, then nothing is special. Yeah. Period.
The only special stuff is like the latest stuff that gets added. So right now would be Frostcraft because that's the one thing that you can't get through Qurious crafting. It's
Velkhana I have not faced yet. I really should.
Yeah, Velkhana was added. And Dragon Conversion, which is gotten from Risen Volstrax, which is really
You know the set that I'm going to go in with? It's going to be the same old mixed Ibushi and Narwa set. I like that set a lot with dual blades. We'll see what I saw the little head and like, good luck there, mate.
Good luck with that. Have fun. The thing that I want to do is I want to do a set for wide shelling where it's going to be all about part breaker and utility skills and stuff like that. because I'm a little bit bored of the set that I'm running right now, which is just straight up full on crit boost, Wex, all the things coupled together with artillery, and just spam Hail Cutter. Just spam Hail Cutter all day. Hail Cutter all day, every day. Hail Cutter hidden for like 700 damage, all of that stuff, and then on top of it, you add the Powder Mantle from Risen Teostra, and you get like sometimes hits of 700 plus 800 from the proc of Risen Teostra. You're just like, what the hell is going on? This is insane. And it's not even that much, because you look at like you look at an Elemental Charge Blade doing like 1,000 damage per file, and it's like, wait a minute, what's this? 1,000 damage per file does not seem like reasonable numbers, Capcom. What's going on?
No, I mean, you got to remember there's frontier blood going on here. So like the, what do you call it, the power creep and the inflation of skills.
Insane.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
and I guess it is what it is, but I've talked, and we've both talked about this in excess, but I would love the next Monster Hunter game to have like 4 skills max, bring back negative. I don't care. Like, I want to feel limited. I want choices to be impactful. I don't want a page of 3 pages of skills that it starts to feel arbitrary, and I don't feel the personality of the monsters anymore.
I 1,000,000% agree with that. I think this is something that, like, I've been trying to get Herney on to speak with me on my other podcast, but Herney is super busy, dude. I can't get a hold of Herney to come chat with me. I've been wanting to talk to him. Yeah, I've been wanting to talk to him about a video that he put out where he's talking about going back to essentially simpler times, because like the current Monster Hunter just has so much stuff that I think going back to simpler times is what we need for the next Monster Hunter. And I'd be curious to hear from the audience as well. How do they feel about this? But it's like, I don't want every weapon to have like 50 combos that they can do. More. Because, then I'm like sitting over here doing 50-minute videos for the guides of the weapons. And it's not even about that. I just don't think it's as much fun, because what ends up happening is people want to specialize more and more on one weapon, which is definitely what happened to me. It's like, I can't step away from the gun lance. I can't. Because and here's the thing. I actually tried making a charge blade set for elemental charge blades. I crafted all the charge blades. I crafted the set. I did all the things. It actually used up literally, I'm not joking, literally all of my armor spheres. I have no armor spheres. Just to upgrade. Not even that. Not only I don't have armor spheres, I had to spend more coins to get armor spheres. Like the Anomaly coins, I spent those to get more armor spheres to be able to fully upgrade the set that I was working on for Charge Blade. And this is without even going into the curious augmentation of the weapons.
I don't like they lock you down a path, right?
It's the resources are just way too much. And I know that there's going to be people that they'll say like, oh, but I've been playing nonstop since the thing.
That's the fun. So.
And it's like, yeah, but I played on PC and then I came back and played on Switch, and I have no resources. Like, I'm constantly zeroed out if I want to craft anything. And it's annoying as hell. It's very annoying. And then when I finally made the set, I was like, now I need to do Qurious armor crafting. Because in order for you to really get all the skills that you need to really take full advantage of Elemental Charge Blade, you're going to have to get some good Qurious crafting rolls. And guess what? I didn't get them.
Here's a weird question, because you've done the endgame loop and you've gone down the augmentation route, but as far as I read, and I hope I'm not wrong, that Sunbreak releases for consoles on the 28th of April.
Yes.
But it's not going to be, they're not going to match it to the current day content for Switch, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yes.
Because they've made so many changes in each of those updates that have been really quality changes, but there are things that sort of say, okay, we had a season or months where you did it like this. Now we're going to make that easier and we're going to introduce something new. Why would you go through all that effort if you know it's all going to be gone in a month? Like, because you know what's coming. It's just like, why don't they just give it?
I don't have an answer. I wish I had an answer.
They don't need the retention. Just let people enjoy the damn game.
The thing that I was thinking about is maybe it'd be like, okay, people are going to get overwhelmed. But it's like, I believe that they've confirmed that it's coming out with Title Update 3. And it's like, it's already pretty overwhelming on Title Update 3. So why not just release it with Title Update 5? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it
either. It could be because I can't. There's nothing that I can say to justify it. I just straight up don't understand.
Yeah, I can't think of a reason.
I don't understand why they're doing it like that. I think it would. The worst part is they're making a liar out of me too. That's the worst part. Because I remember when the whole thing happened when they released Sunbreak simultaneously on PC and Switch. Like the whole thing was that they were saying like, oh, from now on, it's all going to be simultaneous and everything's going to have parity. And I was like,
yeah, it was a beautiful,
great. This is going to be fantastic. From the future, we're all going to have parity. And then they're like, and by the way, we're releasing Monster Hunter Rise on PlayStation and then Xbox. And I was like, okay, why not Sunbreak? Why Rise? I don't understand.
You know why?
Yes. Okay. Sure.
They need to hold people over until they get the new mobile game, Monster Hunter Now, the most funniest named title entry. You know what? I want to preface this by saying that with my being away from Monster Hunter for so long, I've been feeling a true rekindling of passion and love and a desire to play and a true excitement for the next big title. But from the sidelines, like some of this stuff is just making me roll my eyes. I mean, so they licensed out Monster Hunter to Niantic, the creators of Pokemon Go, and they're basically reskinning that game. It looks like the combat's actually from Monster Hunter Explorer. You haven't seen the trailer, and I want you to see it now live during the recording here because I want to see your reaction and hear your thoughts about what you think.
Before we even get into it, okay? I want to make one thing perfectly clear. Monster Hunter team, I love you guys. You guys make amazing games. Okay? I love the Monster Hunter franchise. I adore it. I like Rise. I like Sunbreak. I have some criticisms about some of the things. I talk about it extensively, but at the end of the day, it all comes from a place of love. Okay? This game... Niantic?
Insert that Michael.
Listen,
you got to put on that Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
No, listen. I have no love whatsoever for Niantic. All right, I got zero love for Niantic. I don't give a damn about Niantic. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. Because I played Pokemon Go. Okay.
Yeah, this I wanted to ask you about. So go on.
I played Pokemon Go back in the day when it came out, and I was super excited about it because look. I'm not a Pokemon fan. I've said it multiple times. I don't care about Pokemon that much. But the concept of going out on hikes and picking up Pokemon was awesome. So I was thinking to myself, I'm going to go to a mountain. I'm going to find like a Geodude or something. And it's going to be amazing. Guess what? That's not the Pokemon Go experience at all.
There wasn't jack shit.
Because there was nothing in that mountain. There was nothing there. The whole point of Pokemon Go is to be in a city filled with people, filled with pollution. And I was like, this is so stupid. Why? I don't. And by the way, I had the most perfect setup to min-max Pokemon Go right next to my house because there's a park.
And there was nothing.
No. There's a park.
You have a park. Then there should be some
there's a park, and it has enough Pokestops that you take a lap around the park, and they've reset, and you do it again and again, and you pick up a bunch of Pokemon. So I had the perfect setup to min-max Pokemon to the nth degree. But I'm just like, that's not what I want to do. I want to go outside. Like Portugal has beautiful outdoors. Why the crap would I want to play Pokemon Go in a city? I want to go to the outdoors and catch a Pokemon in the wild. So what you had to do, if you wanted to play the game like that, you had to buy lures. Where you would buy the lure and then Pokemon would show up in those, deserted areas that have nothing. And I hated that. I absolutely hated that because it makes no sense whatsoever. And I already know that Niantic's MO, this is going to be the same thing. I can probably go to the same park that I went for Pokemon Go in my house, and it'll be the most perfect. It'll be the most perfect thing for me to know life, Monster Hunter now, whatever the crap. But it's just something that I'm really not interested in. But, I haven't even seen the trailer yet. So
yeah, before we get to the trailer, though, hang on. One thing that I am curious about, and people in the comments can help with, is I'm not familiar enough with how things have been going with Pokemon Go, because my experience was I played it when it first came out. Obviously, everybody in the world was, and it was fun. And I played it for like a year. I got fed up because there was like no stops at all where I lived. And so that basically I couldn't play the game. It's like you can't play the game unless you go downtown. And so, and as I was in a suburb off from Tokyo. And then, so I stopped playing it for like a year and a half. It was around 2018, I think, when I moved. I think it was when I moved. And my town is like the most populated Pokestop central in all of Tokyo. Like for me, walking to the station, which is a kilometer, which is less than a mile, I had, I think, like 32 Pokestops. It's just loaded. It's like downtown Vegas. And so Yuna got to the age where she got an iPad. We did tethering. She wanted to play it, and we had a blast. 2018, right when they brought back Giratina, which is her favorite Pokemon, all the way up to where they brought back the Armored Mewtwo in 2019. So we played for like a good year and a half. We had a fantastic time. We didn't spend that much money. It was good. It was really good fun. And then we just sort of fell off. And what I hear is in recent years, Niantic has been anti-fan or something. Like they're doing stuff that are pissing people off and they're getting greedy. I don't know the details of any of that because I have nothing but good memory. So I actually don't have anything against Niantic except for they designed the game literally to play in its city, which is where I live. So like, I get it. Like if you didn't live in a city, the game was not for you. And that was kind of counterintuitive. But the thing is like, yeah, I won't even talk. So like someone tell me, is there something that they do operations wise that's really sleazy or something? I don't know. Like I don't know much about them. My experience hasn't been bad.
The other thing that I wish they did better with Pokemon Go is why not just have traditional Pokemon combat instead of whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, that was weird. So okay, well we'll hold here. You got to see the trailer here because that's going to be a good conversation. So let me know when you hit play.
Let me just switch scenes here. We're doing it live. Those of you watching in audio only, you can't really see my reaction, but there is the video on YouTube. It is at
a whole 51 or 52 seconds.
Yeah, but it's like it's going to be at 1 hour and 20 minutes and change or something like that. So you can scroll there and see that. But let's see this real quick. I've hit play, by the way.
Okay. How the game is in your head versus how it is in reality. They did it the same type of trailer with Pokemon. Yeah, so I don't know why they don't give, like, there's so much more media coverage in Japan for some reason, even though it's Niantic.
Do you have gameplay?
I have some screenshots that I want you to see.
Oh, no.
And maybe you could, and I think I'm going to get a really good reaction out of you. So just open up that article, and it's all in Japanese, but zoom down a bit. Till you get to 4 screenshots. So, free for all. Have you gotten down to the 4 images?
What the hell? Oh no.
It's underneath the picture of the guy running around Shibuya with his camera.
No, give me a second. The problem is that I think my capture card's busted. Okay.
So while he's looking for that, I will let people know this is not PR. This is free coverage. They are having to sign up for the closed beta, which is in like a few days or something. Like it's gonna be pretty close. The website, if you put in your information and you hit it, if it comes with an error, just keep trying. You'll get in.
Okay.
But they're gonna be doing like a closed beta. You can check out.
I'm at the screenshots now.
Yeah, so it's like basically Pokemon Go with some, just it's a reskin of Pokemon Go. I love the shot of the mining outcrop on top of a sewer cap in the middle of the town in the background. Someone playing with AR mode on. And I don't know, like... There's a bunch of screenshots if you go below. So the idea is they're saying here...
I'm seeing
the saving...
them.
Yeah, the saving grace is that they said that in this interview that generally the battles are going to be about 75 seconds, and based off of the assets from Monster Hunter World. Looking at that, it tells me that they may be borrowing from the Explore system, because that was actually pretty enjoyable, and it looks, as good old slice and flick and stuff like that. It would make sense. But it really does look just like a reskin of Pokemon Go with Monster Hunter. And, I'm sure it's going to be like, gather 45, like the candies, right? 45 Rathian parts to raise your EXP gauge a little bit for that weapon and stuff like that. And I mean, I could already see the whole system in my head. It's got what I think is arguably a really dumb name because you can't even search it in Google. If you put Monster Hunter Now, like now is such a common word, you're just going to come up with articles and stuff. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I wish them the best, I guess. It seems very much like a licensed out product because Capcom's not operating this either. It's all Niantic that's going to be operating it.
There was a game called Monster Hunter Dynamic Hunting or whatever the hell it was. Kind of seems like it's going to be something like that, maybe. It just feels to me like, look, is the Monster Hunter IP popular enough?
I don't think so. I mean,
to
because they had
something
Pikmin,
like this.
They did Pikmin and what was it, Harry Potter, and those failed. So I don't think it is. I think the timing sucks.
Yeah, I don't
know. We'll see. I mean, try the closed beta. Maybe it'll be fun gameplay, but I'm not interested in free-to-play games anymore, so to say. So, like, I already have sort of like an allergy to this type of content. It's just when the catch line is face monsters in the real world, it's like, that's the last thing I want to do. I hate the idea of seeing a city backdrop to a mining outcrop or a Rathalos. There's no novelty in that. Like in Pokemon, it made total sense because the idea was that they're all around us in the world. I don't see where creatively this makes any sense. It's just a product.
Yeah, didn't they have like didn't the Riders thing like fell off or whatever? Wasn't there one that was Monster Hunter Riders or whatever that was a free to play game that you also didn't like that?
Yeah, I hated that one. People said that eventually got good, but it was very, very. It felt to me like it was very pay heavy. It was just a regular old gacha game with very subpar UI design. This looks like it might be, maybe they'll have polished assets. So yeah, sure, but it's like, do Monster Hunter fans really want to play
The thing
Monster
that bothers
Hunter?
me is I can already see, like, for instance, with Pokemon, you had to buy Pokeballs. I mean, you could get them at Pokestops and whatever, but if you didn't have a bunch of
paintballs for this
Pokestops-
one, it says in the screenshot. So
oh, right.
know.
There were paintballs in the screenshot. So it's like
you
might
probably have
to
to pay for paintballs.
You probably have to pay for paintballs. You might have to pay for better equipment. You might have to... There's so many things that you can, just make this
Yep.
1,000,000% pay to win. Because let's face it, Pokemon Go is also pay to win, and
Yeah.
it is what
They
it
have
is.
they have a picture of the area that this person is walking around is considered a swamp area. So they have Jagras, Kuliaku, and Puke, and I guess
Yeah,
it says slay monster with a specific armor. So they're trying to force you into wearing a specific armor. I'm thinking to
wow.
face. I don't know. That's what it says. It says slay monster
That's-
with specific AR. ... Prologue for reviewing the basics episode 3.
Could it be augmented reality?
Oh my god! I hope not. With AR mode on, that would suck.
It's like
I don't know. I don't want
The
to sound
thing-
like a party pooper because, but then again, Capcom didn't develop this. They're not operating it, so it's all up to Niantic to make it fun. So try out. I would say try out the closed beta or open beta. Give your feedback, but I'm not interested to cover this. It apparently comes out in September. They're doing their closed beta the 25th of April. So they must be confident that it's because it's just a reskin that, we don't care about the results of our beta test. We know when we're releasing it. So it's okay,
I think
go for it.
I just think that fundamentally it is a misunderstanding of what the Monster Hunter fan base wants. Either that or I'm the one out of touch. But actually,
that's true.
I'd be curious to hear from you guys in the audience because
that's what I
at
wanna
the end
hear.
of the day, this is going to be particularly important. Is this something that you would want? Because as someone who's played Pokemon Go, I can tell, and as someone that just look, traditionally, I just don't like mobile games. It's just not for me. And there's a reason I like the Switch so much, and that's because I can just take the Switch with me. I can play it on the go. That's my gaming system. That's where I want to play games. I don't want to be playing games on my phone because touch controls are garbage. They're just garbage, okay? You can tell me whatever the hell you want. Touch controls are garbage. Is that simple? Except for maybe Hearthstone or card games or something like that where you just drag stuff. But this to me is just not the direction that I want to see this franchise going. Is the point that I'm making. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm hoping there's no integration with this and the next Monster Hunter. Because if there is
I would have to say I doubt it.
If there is integration between Monster Hunter Now and Monster Hunter 6, I'm going to be mad. Because I don't want to play this. I'm not interested. You want to make this game, go make this game, whatever. I don't like mobile games. I already know that there's going to be a bunch of pay for convenience things in the game. And, like we've discussed earlier, usually when you have features that are pay for convenience, it's just a motivator to inconvenience people so that they're funneled into paying for said convenience. So I'm not interested in games that do that stuff. And if they have some kind of integration with Monster Hunter 6, then I'm going to be upset. I'm not going to like that at all. So, yeah, that's kind of where I land on this.
Yeah, I mean, they have questions in this interview saying, are there going to be new monsters? He said not at the time of release, but if, a good idea comes out, I'm not ruling it out. They're saying, how is the payment system? It's a free-to-play game, so you can play for free, and you can buy items using in-game purchases. How many weapons do you think there's going to be? Are there going to be any new weapons? He said they're still balancing it, so there's not much they can say, but they do want to have the more popular weapons available. Their idea is that as you progress or as the game continues on, that they'll add more later. So they'll be looking for feedback. Tsujimoto makes a joke saying, come on, we got to have a hammer. I love the hammer. That's all I use. Then they ask, are there going to be elder dragons in this game? And they're going to say that, we'll start out with basic monsters and go from there. But, we've got a long-term vision of maybe it'd be nice to have a battle event against a elder dragon would be cool. So I'm thinking they're probably considering them for raids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they're talking about, in traditional Monster Hunter, Once you hit high rank, there's higher grades of stuff to do it. Are you going to have any system similar to that? They say like early in the game, you'll be fighting weaker monsters, but as you get stronger, you'll face monsters. All monsters also get stronger. And that way that the rarity is more like a number, right? Like the rarity of the same drops that you get are a higher level as well, because they are all lining to you. So it's just a grind. Then they're asking how many monsters are going to be appearing in the game. He says, I can't answer that right now. But I want the more interesting monsters to appear. This is a game that will constantly get updated, so monsters will get added as time goes on. Their goal is that if it's a successful game, then, after many years, maybe it'll be the Monster Hunter with the most monsters in the entire franchise, maybe. Because, hey, it'll be a long-time report. It's got multiplayer.
Yeah, you see it in the trailer.
So, apparently, okay, this is interesting. So the initial question was asking how this all came to be. Sujimoto was saying it was around the 20th anniversary. Next year is the 20th anniversary. And he says that there was a demand from Monster Hunter fans who wanted to play a location-based game based on Monster Hunter. That's what he says here. And he says, if you're going to do it, then, do it with Niantic. Like, do it with the leader, is what he thought. So about 4 years ago, he started talking to Niantic. He said within 5 minutes, they all agreed it was the right thing to do. Because Niantic is the pros of having location-based gameplay, and they can do a global rollout. And they understand Monster Hunter, so they thought it would be perfect.
Yeah.
It's the perfect platform to have gameplay for those. It's the same thing as Explorer, right? Like, for those who are new to the series or experienced, they'll find something to enjoy. It's a very pressy event that they had.
The thing is, I just don't want to see resources diverted away from...
It shouldn't be. The director here is not Tokuda or anything like that, and Sujimoto is more or less just the executive producer, so he's just going on and giving lip service to each execution. But it's going to be Kanno is the director. What else is he? Well, he's the director on the Capcom side, which doesn't matter as much, I think. We'll see. I mean, I'm not particularly hopeful for it. I'm not interested, but if it gives people something fun to do, if they're playing on their phones, then I guess great, but I won't be covering it.
Yeah. Let us know, guys. I kind of feel
open
like
the door for more new creators. Like, I know Pokemon Go had some really cool creators who did a lot of outdoor content and stuff like that, so go for it. I want to see old men. I want to see old men with 60 phones on their bike going through catching all the Jagras,
Listen, I had a friend of mine who basically his Pokemon Go stuff, he had drone footage. He had a drone follow him around while he was doing Pokemon Go, okay?
It was
next level.
If sped up, yeah. That could be fun.
It was next level, the stuff that he was doing. But yeah, it's not the game that I'm personally interested in. But again, I'm more curious about the community response to it. I kind of feel like we're kind of wrapping up the podcast in a bit of a downer, but I just don't think that Monster Hunter now is it. Monster Hunter 6 is what really matters.
Yeah. So you know what? This actually pushes out my predictions for Monster Hunter 6. Because I've long thought that they would announce it at Summer Game Fest. Because face it, the Tokyo Game Show is a joke now. So I was thinking Summer Game Fest, they would announce it for an early, January, February release, like early 2024. And maybe they would give us a release date around Tokyo Game Show. But Resident Evil 4 is killing it. And rightfully so, it's a great remake. So they're making tons of money. And now they're going to have a mobile game, which if you think about it, it's going to make big bucks in the first few months, and then in most likelihood it'll just fizzle to death, or it'll find its legs. Who knows? I don't see them releasing a Monster Hunter 6 within their fiscal year at Capcom Japan ends March 31st. I don't see why they would stack everything on this year just to say what they lose. We have less growth next year because we went too hard this year. It's a financial thing, right? So
summer 2024.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So, which
would make it a perfect time to announce at the Video Game Awards.
When are the Video Game Awards?
December.
Yeah, it might be the thing. So my predictions are all over the place now because I just don't see them releasing it before March 31st now, which makes me think, when would they announce it?
I'm thinking.
But then again, like
they either announce Summer Game Fest. They either announce it at Summer Game Fest or they announce it at the Video Game Awards. I feel like those are the two big prestige events nowadays. It's either Summer Games Fest or Video Game Awards, because I don't think they'll want to announce on a console specific platform, right?
No,
they
I don't
wouldn't
think
want
so
to
either.
announce on a Nintendo
No.
Direct or on a PlayStation State of Play or an Xbox, whatever they do. So most likely the two big prestige events to announce at would be Summer Games Fest or Video Game Awards this year. And you know what?
Their stocks just shot up like crazy today.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
So they don't really need to announce this at Summer Game Fest, in my opinion. The next game, I think they could sit on it more.
You see, this is the problem.
So I'm a little bummed by that.
Listen, this is the problem with this industry, is that whenever a company announces a friggin' mobile game, investors go like, they just like go insane, dude. They just go wild. And investors are just like, oh man, time to buy that Capcom stock. Let's go. It's like,
but we got the title update tomorrow. We've got this being announced. You could make the case that it seems like they're cramming in a bunch of announcements at weird timings just to get away from the Summer Game Fest. So maybe they may make an announcement there. It's possible. I hope they do. I don't care if I have to wait a year. Don't do a full marketing campaign. Just tell us, show us a little teaser, give us 2024 as a date, and let us go crazy talking about what we saw and heard.
Just pull a Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, it's out tonight. It's out tomorrow.
Release it.
Oh, it's on this. It should be on the store right now. Just go get it, man. That game is baller, man. That's crazy. So, I'm excited for the future of Monster Hunter. I don't know what Toku does. I'm assuming he's the director. If he's not, I'd be shocked. But I mean, if you think about it, World came out in 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been 5 years. Iceborne was a different director, so obviously they had probably a good year of. I'm sure he took a few months off after all that. So let's say they had 2019 to do pre-production and planning, tool investigations and stuff like that. That's 1 year. Then you got 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. That's 5 years of development. I don't think they'd be going for 6. I could be wrong, but I think summer next year feels right. Yeah, summer feels good because if you get into fall, then you get a problem where I think
spring
games get discounted because they get discounted by the end of that year. So I think late spring, early summer is where I'm pegging it.
Yeah.
May. May feels good.
Late spring 2024.
Right in time for summer break in Japan, May-ish would be fine. But yeah, I don't know. So my projections are changing because of this. This year they're making too much damn money. Capcom is ranking it in.
Okay, team, so I'm just going to put this somewhere in the middle of this particular podcast. I'm still not exactly sure how it's going to show up. Gaijin just told me I look like Keanu Reeves.
You're going to commit to middle? You're not going to put it at the top? It's going to be middle or not at the end?
It's probably going to be. This should show up shortly after we talk about our predictions for Title Update 5 because we recorded the original podcast before Title Update 5 dropped. Because this is actually really funny because you just came to me and you're like, hey, we got to talk about this Monster Hunter Now thing. I was like, okay. And then, shortly after I was like, tomorrow is title update 5. That's not going to be in the podcast. People are going to expect that. That's going to be weird. But,
my memory's screwed. I didn't even realize we talked about Monster Hunter now.
You just kind of erased it out of your memory.
I had some late night shenanigans going on, so my memory's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, you were actually up hunting until like 1 a.m.
Yes.
Well, I should say we. You, me, and you
yes,
know, we were all hunting. And guys, title update 5 actually got Gaijin to dust off his Switch.
Literally dust off my Switch.
And we did some hunting. So, what did we get for the update? It was pretty much what I think that if you guys have been listening to the podcast up until this point, you will have heard us describe exactly what was going to be added, which was Amatsu, Risen Shagaru, increased Anomaly rank up to 300. And, I speculated, even though, this is interesting, because even during the digital event, like the video that they made, they didn't specify this, but I said, taking into account what happened previously, Frostcraft is going to be added into Qurious armor crafting, most like, and the other skill, there was another skill, I forget which one it is, Dragon Conversion. Those 2 skills were added into that. Not only that, but they were also added into the new Charming tables.
But there was one thing they gave us that you would have never predicted, which was a buff to Gunlance.
Why you gotta make me like depressed like that, dude?
Wait, was it for white only?
It's only for white shell. No, curiously enough, I did make a wide shelling set on the day. I did not know, but I did make a wide shelling set on the day, and I ended up using it to kill Risen Shagaru. It was actually very useful to kill Risen Shagaru, because the first time that I fight monsters, I don't take companions. And good God, Risen Shagaru. Okay, before we talk about Risen Shagaru, though, Amatsu.
Yeah. Sorry.
Amatsu. What'd you think about Amatsu?
I really wanted them to go all out like they did with Fatalis and just reimagine it, and holy shit did they do. It is good. Like, really good.
Yeah, they give it the treatment that they did for like Alatreon, Fatalis, and they kind of like remade a lot of the fight. And initially, I thought there was going to be problems for me fighting it with the Gunlance, but they made the hitbox very generous. They were very kind about the way that the hitbox handled itself. I'm assuming that is a problem. You were complaining about like for Insect Glaive, how you were getting hit all over the place.
Yeah, it was a little rough. But not like horribly bad, but not the best either. But I think we can come up with a new like brutal speed running category. Non-Bogan tail cut speedruns on Amatsu. Because holy shit, that was hard.
I needed Amatsu's tail, and so we go in there, and I'm playing wide shelling Gunlance with a build that's just around shell, erupting cannon, shell, reload, repeat, which deals no slashing damage. Yuna was playing
hunting. I'm the only one sitting
horn.
here with a sword and shield. Like, oh man, it's so hard to catch its tail.
So you're doing that, and I'm trying to also help out with my Gunlance that has no raw damage skills whatsoever, and I'm just sitting there in the tail like, trying to get to it was a nightmare.
But we got it. We got it, but it was hard.
Yeah, but like the fight itself, most people complained that it was too easy. That's at least what I got from like people in the comment section and whatnot. People were like, "Oh, this was too easy," and it's like, I don't know, because I was playing a super defensive set, so it doesn't really, you don't perceive difficulty the same way. It just takes a little bit longer to kill stuff. But what did you think about the difficulty?
I think it's great. I think probably people were trying to compare it to Fatalis, right? Like it is the final, hey, you did the end game, you did all the grind that we gave you, you went the extra mile, now here's one super boss to get your ass walloped on, and here's one set. I think that's going to be the blue Malzeno. Malzeno, whatever it is in
Blue Xeno.
Japanese. Yeah. I think that's what that's going to be. And that's going to be sort of like, if you try going in there with your MR20 and stuff like that, you're going to get your ass handed to you, and I think that's fine. This one, I mean, it's so closely tied to the story, you want everyone to experience it, right? So it felt just right, where it was obviously harder than the G rank final boss, hit harder. We used the free spheres that they gave us throughout the past year and a half that we weren't playing or whatever, to upgrade our armor quite a bit, and it still hit pretty hard. So I'm saying, like, if you're at like 600, 700 defense, like that, I think it is quite punishing. But I like it because it's the difficulty that it feels the right step, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit higher than where we left off, but it's not so, it still has some difficulty. Like, it's not like a walk in the park. I mean, you still feel good when you dodge stuff. It's exciting, you know? So I'm happy with where they went with it. I could see some people, maybe they wanted it to be like Fatalis, which it's not, in terms of difficulty and hitting hard. But for someone who has not been playing for a year, and my stuff isn't augmented at all, I don't have Qurious crafting or anything, it was great.
I think that...
So I think maybe, yeah, if you've gone all out, you might be disappointed because you're murdering stuff in like 60 seconds anyways.
I think that is one of the good things about this update, actually, is the fact that Amatsu is not super out of everybody's reach. It's kind of like, if you haven't played in a while and you're thinking, or maybe you're someone who doesn't keep up with every single thing and you're not grinding nonstop, so you get your monster to go and fight, and everybody that's just like, oh, I really want something super challenging. You got, let me tell you about
Cocaine Bear over there.
The risen Shagaru Magala, which is a Shagaru Magala on, it's not even just crack cocaine, it's like some kind of cocktail of crack cocaine, like steroids, super serum, and everything else they could throw at him. And that was, yeah, that monster is absolutely relentless. So in terms of just like Amatsu, I think the fight's really cool. There's obviously the reference that a lot of people pointed out, which I expected to get a bigger reaction from you because you've played Portable Third.
Yeah, to me, it's not really special. So, I mean, like, I don't see it as like, oh, wow, it's canon, it's a reference. I'm like, I don't know what people were talking about. And then when you explained it to me, if it was, I mean, we'll just talk about it. But I guess, are we allowed to go in spoiler territory?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think it's fine. Like, look, guys, you can skip ahead if you don't want this. Skip to the next.
Want to hear
chapter.
About the fight,
but yeah, go ahead.
So, like, the whole idea of Zinogre getting to get a few fight, little smacks in on Amatsu is funny because of the story of Amatsu in Yukumon Village, but it's not. I didn't think it was something like a huge. It's almost like common knowledge at this point, right? Like, I guess maybe not because Yukumo was Japan only, but the whole idea was that Zinogres are not aggressive monsters that go around and attack people for no good reason. They dwell way up high in the mountains.
You could have fooled me, dude. Whenever I fight a Zinogre, it definitely seems like he's coming after me with a purpose, especially in Rise.
I mean, they're super territorial and they're hunters and in their own sense, right? And they're up in the hills. But the problem was when the Amatsu started coming over by Yukumo and screwing up the weather and making things really uninhabitable, it forced the Zinogres down the mountain, which naturally led them into hunter territory and village territory. So that's why at the very beginning of Portable Third in the opening sequence, it's a big storm going on. You can see the shadow of Amatsu in the background, and there's a Zinogre chase there's a chase with a Zinogre. So, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say, I don't feel that Amatsu and Zinogre ever had beef. If anything, Zinogre and Mizutsune is the beef, right? Because of generations. So, to me, I mean, like, what happens, though, like, if you do, can you get Valstrax the first time? Or is it always Zinogre?
The first time, it's always Zinogre. Because, like, if you noticed, when it was the first time for you and Yuna, because we carded the first time, and then the second time, it was still Zinogre, and then after you guys beat it, it was instantly Valstrax.
I see.
So the first time is always...
So I mean,
it's not even just the first time. People have been telling me that it's... Because I don't use Utsuchi as a companion, but if you take Utsuchi as a companion, you always get Zinogre.
Yeah. Yeah, and he wears Zinogre gear and stuff, so it felt more natural for him to just show up with a Zinogre, and I didn't think, oh yeah, there is a relationship between these two monsters, but The fact that they have Valstrax, though, it kind of makes it kind of like a happy accident, probably. But it was so funny because you're like, oh my God, Zinogre, show up, it's an Apex. And you're like, you can mount it. And then you're like, you're going to get on that thing. And mind you, we went straight to Amatsu after not playing this game for like a year. So she didn't even know how to put away her weapon. She just stayed in front of the Great Wire Bug, like, I don't know how to put my weapon away. And she died, and that's how we carded. But she gets on the Zinogre, and we're like, revenge, here she goes. And she just headbangs him on accident.
I was like, no, Zinogre deals so much damage.
It was so anticlimactic. We had this awesome moment coming up. The monster comes down. Oh my God, you can mount it.
Well, but the really cool thing is that is the only time that you get to mount an Apex Zinogre in the game, because you can't mount Apex monsters at all. So it was.
So it's interesting. I imagine that's probably pissing off some purists.
Why?
The fact that you can't mount them, but all of a sudden you can. It's like, well, that doesn't make. There's no story consistency there, right? Who cares? It's a video game.
I don't care at all.
Yeah, me too.
It's whatever. But he does a ton of damage. Like, I think I did like 1,000 damage hits with him or something like that.
Oh wow!
Because like I instantly noticed on my second run when I went to start farm him and I got Valstrax, and I was like, dude, charged up Valstrax as a mount is worthless. He is terrible. I mean, I don't know if his laser beam just doesn't deal any damage on Amatsu or what the deal is, but like, give me an uncharged Valstrax all day, because with the uncharged one, at least you get like the attack where he just jets into them, and that one's just really good because you're like, just like headbang them nonstop.
Should be really weak to dragon. Is the dragon laser not do a lot of damage?
It deals like 200 or 400 or something like that, and I'm like, bro, with the Apex Zinogre, I'm slapping him for 1,000. Like, what are you talking about, dude? It sucks because I really like Valstrax, but like, charged up Valstrax is worthless as a mount. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Like, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody in the comment section will be like, no, the attack that you got to do is this one. But I don't know. To me, what even seemed like the most powerful attack was like back X and then back A, because those combo together. So you can do like the wing strike and then the other wing strike, and then it will combo into the laser naturally. And I was like, okay, that kind of does something, but it's like with Zinogre, you're just like, slam again. It's like, this is so much better. Like, I don't know what you want from me. But
the thing I really like about the fight, though, is like, one, I'm really happy they didn't remix the music.
Yeah,
like,
the
with
music
voices
is awesome.
and stuff. They kept it pure, which is great because that song is so good. They have the transition music, like when the storm starts, like the way that they did it this time with like just the visuals is just out of this world.
Yeah,
like, it feels really like you're in the middle of a tempest, and the colors are super saturated and fun, and the Beyblade attack is amazing. It sends out all these like spinning like diagonal razors of thunder. So cool.
I liked it a lot. I the first time that I fought him, I don't know if I carded once or twice. I think I might have carded once. I know that I at least carded to the lightning attack, because I was like, the hell do you mean? Great wire bugs. What do you want from me? And there's one big tutorial message while I'm just losing health, and I'm just like, oh, but I have a super defensive set. This is fine. And I put up my shield, and it's like, the goggles, they do nothing. It doesn't do anything. I was like, oh, okay. So then I died, and it was very bad. But
but there's also something that I think is probably was in me before I found. Thanks to you, Final Fantasy XIV. I hate to draw parallels to everything.
Here we go.
That's how it is. But the thing is, I always talked about this before I even played that game, which is I really like scripted events in games that still offer a degree of freedom, but it gives you a natural sense of progression. How far am I? Where are we right now? Phase transition. Yeah. Here we go, So all the fights that I really love, like my top monsters, you got like Bloodbath Diablos. There's very clear phases with that monster. And stuff like that, or Molten Tigrex, stuff like that. Like, I really enjoyed the phasing for Amatsu. Like, it's very clear where you are in the fight. So, like, you get in there, you got the enraged sequence, and you've got the midway point with the cinematic. Then you've got, another rage point, and then the final phase where you should be killing it. And it just feels really good and super clear, defined, and nice. So, I don't know, maybe I'm just into more scripted fights, because we really enjoyed Zora Magdaros, really loved the Xenojiva, Safajiva, Call of Taraf, Atalka, Fatalis, Latrion.
Yeah.
These are all super sequenced fights that there's a lot of randomness in there, but there's a frame in which you're working, and I really like that. So maybe my FF14 experience is making me appreciate these monsters even more, because it's just fun mechanics.
Well,
what's your favorite new attack of Amatsu? Because there's so many. There's
I like the
spinning
one
pillars.
No, I like the one where he pulls you up and then he makes like a wind tunnel, and then you're in the middle of the wind tunnel, and there's the whole thing where you have to dodge at the exact moment, right? But because if you dodge too soon, you're gonna hit the walls and you're gonna take damage anyway. If you dodge too late, you're gonna get hit by Amatsu. And it's funny for me because with the gun lance, I dodge whenever, and then I just shell to stay in the air. So I just cheat. So that's fun. But I like that attack a lot. I thought that attack is pretty cool. Although it's also fun when you notice all of the stuff that it does, because the first couple of times that you go up in the Great Wire Bugs in the middle of the big attack, you might not pay too much attention to what Amatsu is doing. He just straight up beelines into the arena almost like a friggin' ambush, like, and then the big lightning explosion comes. That's pretty cool too. But yeah, the air tube in the air, that's the one that I liked a lot.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm probably gonna go with Beyblade, because I just think it's just wildly fun.
The Beyblade's pretty cool, yeah.
Oh yeah, those are cool. But I do like that they retain the idea of that when he starts doing what they say in Japan, they call it the Dyson, which is like the vacuum, like, and sucking everybody in, that you can still knock him out of it. And it didn't seem like the check was that tough. So it's kind of nice because it forces you to be heroic. It's fun. I liked it a lot. Armor looks great, but I'm not sure I'm feeling the skills. The weapons, I'm certainly not feeling.
Yeah, it's like I was instantly enamored with it when I came up with when I saw this, like, infinite sharpness. Infinite sharpness? That's like a gunlance's dream. And then I spent everything I had upgrading that armor and then some, and I still wasn't able to upgrade the whole set. And then I realized, you know what? This ain't that great. This is, you know.
You know what? I'm willing to make this a hill to die on.
Sharpening every now and then, it doesn't really bother me that much to sacrifice the amount of skills that I'm sacrificing for having this, because a lot of that armor has a ton of like tier 4 decos, but it's like, I want to have sneak attack. There's no tier 4. I want to have embolden. There's no tier 4. I want to have full guard. Those are tier 3 and tier 2. It's like, there's so many skills that I want to have that like I can't get with tier 4s. You know, I can put them in there, but the slots aren't great, and it has no other supporting skills. So I'm probably going to end up not even using it. And this is when we get to one of the biggest problems. It's not of this update. This is a problem that I feel like I've been struggling with ever since I came back to the Switch. And people keep telling me, well, it's because you were in the PC and you played in the PC a ton. And this is true. I probably have like over 1,000 plus armor spheres on the PC. But it's like, at what point does it get reasonable? Because I've probably been back on the Switch for about 200 hours. And I'm still starved for armor spheres. And I have like maybe 2 armor sets fully upgraded. And people keep telling, just do the side quest. I'm doing the side quests all the time. I have them active all the time. I'm always doing them. Go to my streams, watch me instantly refresh in between every hunt, refreshing the optional quests, getting them done, doing all of that. And still no armor spheres. Like, I have no armor spheres whatsoever. And then I hear people complain about Zenny, and I'm like, bro, you can literally print money in this game. Like, that number is meaningless. It might as well not even be there. You can just, like, 1 hour, 10 million Zenny or something like that. I don't even know how much Zenny, but Zenny
Well,
is
there's a
not
lot
a
of
problem at all.
there's a lot of different ways to get Zenny. There's not a lot of different ways to get armor spheres.
I feel like there's no way to get
huge-
armor
in-
spheres. Not in good
I did some
quantities.
testing today, so because this is a hill that I'm gonna kind of be willing to get sucker punched on, and it is what it is, because I'm coming at this from the perspective of someone who has not done the grind. Right, I'm master rank 50, Anomaly 23. I haven't engaged much because I was also playing on the PC as well, but I found out, and I wish the game was a little bit. I didn't realize it, but when you go in, like you have those little stony lizards, the geckos that drop, certain items, including armor spheres.
Yes.
And if you use obviously the kunai, then you can get 3 from one of them.
Or attack them.
So they have if you attack them with a weapon, it's only 1, I think.
No.
And if you attack them with a dog, it's 3. Or did they change it?
No, you can. It's like if you do the prompt, the harvest them, that's 1. But if you attack them, you can attack them 3 times. So it's the same thing as the kunai. The reason I say that is because people are always telling me to use the kunai, and I'm just like, dude, I miss with the kunai. Maybe I suck at aiming, but I can't land. And like people always complain to me whenever I'm like harvesting for spear birds, because like I'll go in there with my gun lance right into a bush, and with one thrust, I'll bust up the whole bush. And people are like, oh my God, why are you doing that with your weapon? It's like, because I'll throw friggin' 50 kunais and there'll still be one goddamn bush there. I'm not doing that anymore. I hate the kunais.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try that out. That sounds better.
I don't hate the kunais, but it's like, I can't aim. I suck at aiming them. So it's like with the gun lance, whenever I'm doing the lizards, I just like shell them 3 times with long shelling. Like bam, 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 give me. And it's more accurate than kunai.
So they added a food, which is the summoner, which
makes crafty creatures.
It's 100. Yeah, it's 100% if you use your dango tickets or whatever that you have in abundance. So you do that, and it guarantees that you're going to get 8 rock lizards in the volcanic map. So if you go in there, I didn't do enough testing to know if it's completely different, but I did 2 runs on just a MR1 whatever, what do you call them, the gathering tour things. Didn't get shit. But when I went and I did the event quest for Velkhana, because that's set at MR 10 plus, or not 10 plus, but I think 10 plus, it actually changes the grade of what I'm getting in there. So when you go and you do the event quest for Velkhana, you pop the summoner. There's a route that I'm sure it's the same for everybody because there's only 8 damn lizards, so I mean you can only have so many different routes, but you do a run through, and the run takes about 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and you get 24 drops from them, and then so on average you're getting 10 to 16 king armor spheres per run. And then if at the same time you're also grabbing bugs or mushrooms or whatever, you might get some more. But I calculated out, I did it for an entire hour, and I got about 110 king spheres. That's an hour.
That's ridiculous.
But I calculated it out. I went through the armor. If you were to say like the Arcfiend set, right? The Gorum Gazamu or whatever the hell its name is, the final boss.
Guys Magorm.
I hate that it ends with an M. I want a vowel at the end. I think it's just too much Japanese. I want an or something.
Yeah.
Or an O or something. But anyway.
And by the way, guys, do remember that Gaijin keeps track of these names both in Japanese and in English. That's why sometimes the English ones come off odd.
Weird to me, yeah. If it was the first one that I heard, then it would be fine. But so, anyways, if you were to take his armor and you wanted to upgrade all the way, now some people said on Twitter, which I might agree with. I'll have to test it, that going all the way and fully upgrading it is actually only necessary if you're getting into the end game and the hardest of the hardest. But anyways, to upgrade that thing from 630 defense to 910, level 1 through 29, it takes 203 king armor spheres for a full set. So it's about 41 per piece that you need. So that would be roughly 2 hours of constant optimized lizard grinding without counting loading. it'd probably be longer, probably 3 hours altogether if you include some hydration and a bio. So you're talking like 3 hours and 2.8 million gil in order to upgrade one of your sets. And I don't know how people play.
Gaijin, it's called Zenny.
Did I say Gil again? Because I wrote
Yes.
it on the tweet as Gil, and
You
people
said-
are like,
you
"Oh,
said
you
Gil."
idiot!" Zenny, 2.8 million Zenny to upgrade all of it. Which to me, like 2.8 is expensive, but like you said, there's a lot of avenues you can go
Yeah,
to get
you
it.
can-
Like
you
there's
can easily
resources you can
get-
offload.
You can
But
easily
as
get
far as
Zenny.
armor spheres go, there you can do optional. You can just get them if you're playing all the time or doing anomalies. But if you play like me and I've got like 60 sets, like there's some obviously combinations of armor pieces that are used across different sets. But like even if you had 2 sets for each weapon, right, which I think is a very reasonable thing, that's a heck of a lot of armor spheres. Now the game did give out the true armor spheres, which I think is kind of shows
I've
the
already
hole
used
in their.
those.
I think their inflation principle, which probably comes from Frontier, because it's just how they're doing it. Which you don't feel it if you are. It's like the Einstein thing, right? Like if you're moving inside of a train, you don't feel the speed of the train. Like if you've been keeping up with the grind, then you're not feeling the inflation. But if you're like me and you're trying to come back, it's like, God.
That's the thing, right? So I did do the PC thing. So let's say, okay, on PC side of things, I have 1,000 more spheres. Those 1,000 more spheres would have been used
5
up by
armor
now.
sets.
I would have already used them, like easily would have already used them. So in the hours that ever since I came back to the Switch, which by the way, it's not short time that I played on the Switch because I'm currently. Before the update dropped, which made the grinding easier, I was Anomaly rank 186, and I started from scratch like, was it 2 months ago or something like that?
Yikes.
So I have been grinding. I haven't been like giga hardcore grinding because I've been covering other games in the channel, but I have been keeping up with the grind to some extent, and it's just, I just feel like there's definitely a problem with the armor spheres. Like it's unreasonable. I think it's completely
I think
like you just did the analysis.
Yeah.
You just did the analysis, which is like 2 hours. Let's say 2.5.
3.
Let's cut it down the middle. 2.5 hours to fully upgrade one armor set. Come on, that's
Yeah.
I don't think that's reasonable. I don't think that's and to the people saying, oh well, you don't have to, whatever. It's like, yeah,
just play the game.
Guess what? You can play naked with a heavy bow gun and it's fine, and you can kill everything. It's whatever. But you want to upgrade your armor.
There's something about it, right? Like if they raise the cap, you want to max it out, right? And the game has so many armor sets that you would naturally want players to aim to make them all, if anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, or at least a lot of them, but you're not going to get that when your upgrades are going to be total crap. So,
like right now,
tough.
last night I made because Amatsu's weapons, they increase silk bind attacks. So I was like, bro, I'm gonna do a set for bullet barrage spam because the Shagaru Magala gives you an extra wire bug, so you can have 4 wire bugs. And so I was like, I'm gonna get 4 wire bugs, bullet barrage spam, wind mantle, the works. And then I was like, and now I'm going to play with no armor. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna get like 1 shot left, right, and center. It's gonna be fantastic. Because I can't upgrade. I literally can't. I have no armor spheres whatsoever. And
so if you came with me, you'd get 110 per hour, but that's not quite going to cut it.
It's like it's going to take so long that I don't even want to like. And the thing is, it's not like, oh, I'm doing something interesting in these 2 hours. Like no. This is
work.
2 hours of work. It's 2 hours of hunting down stupid lizards that I don't want to do. I don't want to go after.
The lizards are cute. The lizards are cute. I'll give them that.
They're cute,
like
sure. Yeah, fine. But it's like, I don't want to go out there for 2 hours shooting lizards. It's not a fun. Like if you're telling me, okay, it's 2 hours of hunting monsters, I'll be like, okay, that's cool. 2 hours of shooting lizards? Nah. And even the hunting monsters, I still feel like you need to get more armor spheres than that. It's like, it's too.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's two things I imagine they're going to do, because the inflation is quite big on these. Now, the good thing is they're not inflating the amount that you need per level. Like, from 20 to 27, it's like the same amount. It's like 1,200 points, which is nice. So when they do finally add in the true armor spheres, because they gave away some to people, and those are really good. Like, they're worth a lot, like 2,000 points or something. So I imagine in June, they're going to come out, and they're going to add it either as a reward for taking down some new monster. What I hope they do is allow you to exchange like Kimura points or something for armor spheres. That would be nice. Just another way to get them. There's just got to be another way.
Yeah,
because
there needs to be a
the level is just, I think it's a problem. And if people want to say that's because I haven't been playing, it's like fine.
I
Or they
disagree.
want to say, well, you don't need to upgrade it to the max.
I
It's
disagree with
human
that
nature,
too,
man.
No, I disagree with the whole concept, like, because that's the same thing that people were saying when I was talking about Qurious armor crafting and how it's pretty much almost impossible for you to really optimize your sets.
Yeah, it's locking you into like one
because
or two
it's,
sets, and it's
because it's RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG, and you got to be giga lucky to get it. It's like, it's just like charms. And we'll talk about charms a little bit later as well. But it's just like, I disagree with the whole thing of like, oh, it's because you haven't played, because I have been playing tons, and I still don't have the goddamn armor spheres. Or it's like, oh, it's you don't have to upgrade. It's like, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to play the game.
Yeah.
It's all optional.
But I will say, like, Amatsu, even at 800 defense, was dealing quite a chunk of damage to us. So I don't know how that would play out at 700 or 650. I don't know. I should try it out. But then again, the more I fight on it on Twitter, the more I'm just coming off as someone who wants to complain. But I'm super happy with the update. I mean, I'm playing it again after so long. I want motivation to make lots of armor, but the game is telling me you should have been playing all year.
Yeah, but the other monster that we got is Risen Shagaru. So that one you haven't gotten to fight, but you saw me fight it. I mean, fun. I'm not sure if it's the way that I describe it.
It's Cocaine Bear.
He's insane. He's like, there are very little openings.
How do we just make lots of boomies? Okay.
Yeah, they're just like, it's explosions galore. Mode. It's just explosions everywhere, nonstop. Mm-hmm. Boom, 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 boom. And I was able to actually kill it just fine. And it was funny because people were saying that I was going to lose. You even said, "Oh, my money's on Shagaru." And I was like, "That's the wrong bet."
Betting on it. I wanted to.
That's the wrong bet. But I did. I'm gonna be honest.
Twice. It's a twofold thing. I thought it would be more powerful, and two, I thought you would be worse. But you play very well, and you obviously have a good play style on a set. So I was impressed on your tech, and I was also slightly unimpressed with not the move set, but the damage output of Shagaru. I don't know if it's because your defense is really high.
Exactly. But that's exactly why. That's because I was preparing a set where I really like the play style that I had in Rise, which was the poke shell poke. Because with guard reload, it really allows you to sit there and trade with monsters. And then whenever the monster's coming at you, just like guard reload. And then you keep going and guard reload. And with Erupting Cannon, they basically let you just go into this playstyle of shell, boom, shell, guard reload. And it's super good because at any point in time...
What does the skill do?
Guard reload? Or Erupting Cannon.
Whatever you're saying, the eruption thing.
Erupting Cannon. It's like, you know how the worm stake for the gun lance has the thing where basically it takes a whole year for the worm stake to come out, where it goes like, ugh! And then it stays there, and then it goes, ugh! And then it finally puts the worm stake. Erupting Cannon solves that problem because it just goes like, boom! So there's no...
Oh, it shortens the animation?
No, there's the thing is, it's no longer like the worm stake kind of going like... It's just an explosion.
Maybe I'm mistaken. Is this a skill or is this a swap skill? Like an armor skill or a swap skill?
It's a swap skill.
Ah, okay. I was thinking of it like an armor skill.
So like you have the worm stake cannon, which puts a stake and does like a bunch of ticking damage and then an explosion. And then you have the erupting cannon, which deals less damage, but it just goes like boom, and you're good. And then on top of that, it increases your melee damage, which on that build doesn't really matter. But, with that playstyle, it really lets me trade. So I like that, being able to be in the monster's face and blocking and doing all of that stuff. So in that set, I have Embolden 3, Guard Up 3, Guard. So it's just like all the possible blocking skills you can imagine in the game are
Offensive
in that
Guard
set.
3?
No, I don't have that. I don't need it. It doesn't affect shelling damage. If it affected shelling damage, I'd put it in there.
Oh, that's true. You just said every guard skill in the game.
Yeah, exactly. The offensive guard is not really a guard. It increases damage when you block. It's
yeah,
whatever.
that's true. But yeah, the immortal builds are fun.
Yeah,
it's a good fantasy, right? Just being right in front of the face of the dragon, poking it.
The problem is that you deal no damage, so you get very little staggers off of Shagaru, so you basically get to see the full move set of him just like going hog wild. And I was like, bro...
Yeah.
It's very overwhelming because it's just like at any given moment is like boom, 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 explosions.
Yeah,
boom,
but
boom,
in the
boom,
middle
boom,
of
boom,
all of it, I see your cat walking up with the mega barrel bomb above his head, like sup.
Bombardier Palicos are the best. I will accept no other. They're the best. It's that simple.
That's so good.
They're constantly running in with the Giga Barrel bomb, baby. Boom. And the Kittonator as well. It's also very useful, giving me openings. But yeah, like I said, the first time I did it, no companions, because I like challenging the monsters like that. But yeah, then the subsequent grinds, I just went in with companions, and it was a lot easier because when he's not on you the whole time, it makes it way easier. But
okay, so here's this. I don't do. Go ahead, finish. Sorry.
He is very challenging. Like, I think a lot of people will struggle with. Like, I even went into a multiplayer lobby just out of curiosity, and he did like one attack, carded everybody, and I was just sitting there like, oh, okay.
That's how it is.
I guess that's how it be.
So one new feature of the update, which I am not going to be able to enjoy because I haven't been playing, and two, I'm just not interested in doing the whole Anomaly Qurious thing. It's just doesn't interest me as much. How is the new melding things? Like, I've seen some really crazy ass stuff on Twitter. Like, look at this charm I got. I'm just like,
it's busted.
It's fun too.
It's like,
I mean, 80 skills.
You know all the other charms that you had. You can just literally grab all those, put them in the trash. They're worthless now. They're completely terrible.
At what anomaly level would you say you have to hit in order to participate in that?
You don't have to hit any specific anomaly level because you can do it with, as far as I can tell, with pretty low level anomaly materials as well. So you just need to do anomalies. That's it. The thing is, if you're higher, the materials are going to be worth more points. But pretty much...
How many points are, like... I was noticing today, because I'd never done it before, but I went into an anomaly quest and I was doing the lizard killing. Just trying to see if there's a difference between Anomaly versus the event Shagaru one, and there wasn't. But I noticed that when I was gathering, the nodes are also afflicted. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah,
and then I got a bunch of these like.
Remember how in Monster Hunter World, if you wanted to get investigations, you'd have tracks of monsters that you would pick up, and it would generate more investigations. It's the same thing.
Oh,
it generates more.
So
investigations.
Those aren't items that you use for crafting. That's for getting new investigations.
Yeah, you just get new investigations. I mean, you still get the items, but it's mostly it gives you more anomaly points and it gives you more investigations and stuff like that. I always pick those up. Always, always, always.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how many for, like, the really good talisman farming? How many, like, if I'm just anomaly level 1, 2, or 3, like, Rathians and stuff, how that must take a lot of kills in order to start running that.
I don't think it would, but I'm not 100% sure because, like, I have a very bad... I'm very bad at tracking what material is what. I just look at my materials and I'm like, okay, I have 40 of this. I'm going to take down 10 and keep 30 just in case I need them. But I would imagine...
I have a friend that's in our... sorry.
I would imagine that, like, you will probably want to be on the higher levels, like probably close to level 100. And at that point, you should be getting stuff fairly comfortably. But I don't think it's that hard to get there now because I only did, like, 3 or 4 anomaly quests since I've came back, and I'm already like 189 or something like that.
Yeah, they said that they increased it. Yeah, so maybe they buffed the living hell out of it. I don't know.
Up to 220, it should be fairly easy. And
we can test it after this.
Yeah, sure.
But no, it's to say because I have a friend who's in our FC in FF, and he's also playing, and he took down the Shaggy, but still did not have the new melding method pop up. So I don't know what the unlock conditions are.
It's not Shaggy. I think the new melding.
Like if he's
Oh,
that
crap.
high of a level.
Oh, it might actually require a certain anomaly rank, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know what anomaly rank it requires for that, though.
Hmm.
But yeah, and the way that charming system works now is like when you use the materials, it's random. You get random stuff on the charms. But you then have the cyclist meld. So you have two ones, which is the vigor. That's the one where you put materials from anomalies and it generates random charms.
Yeah.
Then you have another one which is called cyclist, costs more Kimura points as usual, but you use the charms that you've generated from the other one, so charms that you don't want, right? Trash charms. And you use those to fuel up more melds, and in that one you can choose a skill. So that makes it, which is interesting. They haven't done it like that before, but that makes it very, very good. So for instance, I put up give me guard charms, and one of the charms that I got, which had two skills that I really wanted, was 3 guard, blood right, a tier 3, a 2 blood right, a tier 3, and a tier 1 deco. And that's not even that good. That's not even that good.
I mean, in Monster Hunter terms, that's a full set.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not even that good.
Oh my god!
Like there's way
they're
better.
really going all frontier on this, aren't they?
Yeah, it's the amount of stuff that you can get from these charms is completely ridiculous. Like I had one that had 3 embolden and like 3 tier 2 slots, and it still had one other skill in there, and I was like, what is this? It's ridiculous. Like it really is ridiculous. The godlike charms now are going to be on a completely different level. But it's also again, it's super RNG. So getting something really good is very, very hard.
Yeah, but I mean, go back to what we've always said, which is Sunbreak is going that really wild, like over the top. So I mean, it's good that they're going all the way, like as far as they can go to just push it and go nuts. I do hope though that the next Monster Hunter game is going to be very limited skill wise. Yeah, I want 5 skills max. I want them to really matter, because when you can choose, 20, 30 levels of skills a la carte, then the weight of each one and the meaningfulness
and not only that, I feel like the way that they've done with the armor crafting, we've talked about this before, but it basically makes armor kind of pointless.
It's just visual at that point, yeah.
The armor itself is like, it's whatever.
Even the slots you can change, the skills you can change. Like where is the essence of the monster it came from?
Unless you're going for the skill, the new skills that came out in the most recent update, you can just equip whatever you want, because everything else you can get it from Qurious if you're patient enough. But I don't know. There's just something about it that I end up not liking very much. It just like there's something about setting up your set like a puzzle, like a Tetris puzzle. It's like, okay, this slot goes here, this slot, and you make the nice little perfect set, and then there's just the complete chaos, which is, like I said, it's basically Diablo loot. It's Diablo loot in Monster Hunter at this point. But
so I did notice that, I don't know if it's new, but I saw that there were some links about an event quest with 2
Magnamallas.
I can't even name monsters anymore. That's how bad I am. I want to say Odogaron, but it's not. It's Lunagaron. 2 of them, and I guess
what do you mean Lunagaron? No, it's Magnamallas.
Like I said, I don't know if this was added a long time ago, and I'm just not realizing it. But apparently, it pays out like tons of eggs or something that you can sell for like huge amounts of zenny.
If that's the Rajang quest, actually, there's a quest with a Rajang and something else in the arena. And that gives you, like, I think 1 million zenny per run or something like that. Yeah, I'm just lost then.
Yikes.
There's just tons of again, there's tons of ways to make zenny. You can do it through selling materials, selling mining nodes for the roots that we talked about.
So
or you can do the
Rajang to get that really cute armor?
I have no idea. I haven't done event
frontier
quests.
Armor.
See, that's
the one with the male one is like a cat or something. The female one's really cute.
I don't know if that event is already in there, because usually in the digital events they will say, oh, this event's going to be in there, but it doesn't get released instantly. It gets released later.
Right.
It might already be in there, but I have no idea, because see, this is another problem with the anomaly thing, is that for my OCD brain, it constantly goes, if you're not running anomaly monsters, you're wasting time. Like even me running,
and here I am not running any.
no, yeah, but see, that's the problem, because even just me running the Amatsus that I've been running to do the sets and the Shagaru, in the back of my mind, my brain is going,
You're not getting.
you're not getting anomaly research. What are you doing? It goes all the way up to 300 now. What are you doing? You got to go do anomaly grinding, and it's bad for me. It's just something that is bad for me, because like, I haven't touched events since anomaly research was added. Like my event list is massive and I haven't done a single one of them. And I want to, but every single time that I pick up the game, I'm like, I gotta go do anomaly grinding so that I unlock the more powerful stuff.
You are a man of the machine.
Yeah, it's a problem. Like I don't know, dude. I don't know. That's the thing. And then on top of it, right? Because, you know, they've increased the anomaly research rank. It now goes all the way up to 300 and all of that stuff, which is cool. And here's the thing. It doesn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me if I wasn't able to reach 300, if there wasn't any content locked behind it. But there is. There's the...
Yeah, so that's a good thing. That's a plus.
I don't think that's a plus. The special anomaly...
Well, not a plus, a motivational plus.
Yeah. The special investigations, like, I want to do the special investigations. I want to fight the really hard stuff. And there are some power things that you get along the way, but I don't think that they're super essential. Like, I don't need an attack for Deco to be able to, you know, it's not going to make or break my set. An attack for Deco is not making or breaking my set at this point. So it's like, I just want to go fight the special investigation one. I want the big challenge, but you can't. You have to put in
it's kind of weird, like
an ungodly amount of grind hours.
Yeah, in one way, it gives this game like an insane amount of legs if you're into it. Like the amount of years you can pump into this thing is going to be incredible. But on the other end, it's just, does the party need to go on for 5 years? Can we just get to an end that we feel satisfied with and play Monster Hunter 6? I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not. You can't cry about more content. It's just, the funneling is weird, right? It funnels you down this path of do this, do that, don't do this. I'm going to punish you for not doing that. And it's kind of like, just ease up on the grind a little bit, my man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it needs to be this grindy. It's like, if you want to have something to work towards, kind of like the people that love going all the way up to mass rank 999, cool. Let anomaly ranks go all the way up to 999 for people that want to go do that. But like, I want to do the special investigations, but I don't want to grind for like the 100 hours that I'm going to have to grind to get to 300.
Do you think people would be pissed off if in the June update they just completely blow it off and just say like, okay, we've tripled the amount, like it's 3 times faster, 4 times faster than it ever was?
I don't think people care.
They don't care. Yeah, at this point, it's like it's just a number.
Because like if they cared,
because I think that would help.
If they cared, like they would probably be up in arms when it was first increased, because they buffed the acquisition rate for lower levels, and then again and again. And I haven't really seen significant pushback from people going like, "Oh, I can't believe you made it easier." But it's like,
do it.
I don't think
more people who are.
Yeah, I don't think people care.
More people getting in that level, the better, right? So I mean, let us fight. Tier stuff.
It's like, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not something that is super. Oh my god, this freaking sucks. I love the update. I think the update's a ton of fun. I like Amatsu. I like the new skills. Even Risen Shaggy, despite the fact that he's a crack-addled fiend. I'm curious to facing him at like anomaly rank 200 or whatever. I can only imagine what his health pool is going to be like, because he's part of it. Like, we've gotten Risen Strax and Risen Shagaru added into the anomaly pool of monsters, so they're going to be buffed up beyond belief. I can't wait to try those fights out. But that's all good fun. It's just, again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that 300 thing when I have a bunch of other games that I want to be playing, like friggin' Legend of Zelda, Jedi Survivor, Final Fantasy 16, all of that good stuff, right?
Yeah. I don't think Capcom's listening, but if they are, I was going to say, speaking of the word buff, there was some discourse online, which I completely agree with, which is they added in the buff bodies as an event reward that's going to be coming, and I think that's awesome and good, because, like, don't sell it, make it obtainable, and it's a
fans been wanting it, but they didn't add in the actual buff one for the female body. So it's like, come on, man, June update, you can do it. Add it in.
I don't understand this whole. Sometimes it almost feels like people are scared of seeing like a muscled up female body. I don't understand.
Muscular women are hot as hell. I don't know about you guys, but like, I mean, anybody who's physically fit, I think is attractive. Like that's just a thing.
I don't.
But
it's like
yeah, we need buff.
If people want their female character to be buff as hell, I'm like, yeah, do it. Why not?
Let them.
It's like, I don't understand.
Absolutely. Especially as a hunter.
There is a little bit of a double standard there for sure, because like the male one is like chiseled.
Yeah.
It is chiseled in stone.
And the female one is
a goddamn statue.
Moderate, pretty fit, probably more into calisthenics, probably not like a lifter. But yeah, I hope they add it in for June, because that's something that people want, and yeah, it'd be nice.
We'll see how that stuff pans out.
But yeah, I'm back. I'm not full time. I'm still playing FF, but I'm back on the hunt, which tells you that they did good. They got me to come back and mess with it, so I consider that a big win.
It's just like one of the biggest concerns that I have with how the updates were handled this time around is I don't remember if I mentioned this when we recorded previously, but it's the whole World of Warcraft thing of like they make the grind easier every patch, it just makes more sense to play in the final patch as opposed to playing in the in-betweens, because it's almost like the game doesn't properly respect your time. In a way, not fully, but like in a way. It's a little bit of a criticism that I have there, but it's again.
How much do you think, like time period? How much prestige? I call it prestige period, but like, people who have put in the grind and they get access to that monster, that item. It's the same thing as like MMOs, right? Like the people who put it in and get access to that. How many months do you think need to elapse before they can open it more up to the average player, that you feel that, hey, you know what? I got to enjoy this. I felt good. And yeah, let everybody in the door for half price. I don't care.
I think that
how long
that is going to vary from people to people. To me, there's no limit. So for instance, let's say, I grinded the crap out of something and I got there yesterday and I was like, yes, I'm at the top of the mountain. And today they just open up the elevator that takes people to the top of the mountain. I'm like, that's fine. I have no problems. I know that a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but for me,
I thought you were just saying that you didn't like that. Maybe I misunderstood you.
That I didn't like that?
The idea of them making the grind easier every update?
It's not that I don't like it. What my point was, it incentivizes people not to play in between periods, and it incentivizes people to basically play at the end when things are much, much easier and they can just get everything done faster. To me, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, I'll grind, it's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, devil's advocate, I'll say, I think in the long run it's better to do that, to make it gradually easy. I just wonder what that period is for each person, where they feel they feel the reward of their efforts, but they're okay with everyone else being lifted up. Because I would love to fight some of these monsters eventually, but I'm definitely not going to be able to put in, or I'm not willing to put in the hours to get that much. So
yeah, I think it's a ton of time investment, and that's the other problem that comes from that is also the weapon balancing, because like you go online, most of what you see is just people playing bow guns. Like
can I give you a thought experiment to make you cringe a little?
Go for it.
Can you imagine in June we get a update on the store that just unlocks for $10? It will unlock Anomaly 300. It's a boost.
That is potentially the worst thing they could possibly ever do.
I know. I don't know why the thought hit my head. I'm just like, that would be horrible.
That would legit piss me off. Like, that would be a terrible move. Like, I don't care what.
I don't think they would do it. It's just funny because when you make the.
There are people that will fold themselves into a pretzel to justify that. I'm like, there's no justification. Okay, there's nothing. Like, you can't do that. Like that is straight up a gameplay thing. You just can't do that. There are certain lines you cannot cross.
No selling armor spheres. No 10-pack of true armor spheres, Capcom. Don't even think about it.
If they do
man. I don't think they would, but man. But some companies would.
Oh, yes. Some companies
Blizzard. Sorry.
Yeah. Activision Blizzard? No, they would never. Oh, what are you talking? What? You mean people who sell gold in their MMO, which basically trivializes literally everything in the game for anyone that has deep enough pockets? They can do literally anything in the game? Okay, yeah, that's kind of...
Oh my god, I don't know why. I just randomly remembered. I got to go find out if there's a lo-fi album on iTunes or not, because I really enjoyed that section of the title
of the event with
video.
with the DLC. Yeah, I'm probably going to buy those.
I have to listen to it in English because I was watching it in Japanese with my daughter, but like the whole, like she's talking all smooth and she's trying to do like the lo-fi radio.
Fio Radio,
yeah.
Is that a Fiorane?
It was so funny as hell. I still hate the idea again of the characters endorsing their own game, like it's only $59.99. I'm like, you're inside the universe, but it was still cute. I liked it.
By the way, I have a complaint. We got to talk about this, okay?
I
have
Drama
a big
alert.
complaint. All right, listen, Capcom. What's with this?
What did I do? Oh, it's Capcom. Okay.
What's with this situation of like, oh, we're gonna add in some new Rampage decorations. We're gonna add in some new Rampage. Here's one: Guard Bash Jewel 2, only for lances. This is a decoration that gives weapons the Guard Bash skill. Deals blunt damage to a monster when blocking an attack with the Guard Switch skill. I don't even know what the Guard Switch skill is. I have no idea what that is.
Switch.
People were telling me that this is Anchor Rage. I'm not sure if it's Anchor Rage or not. But basically, it'll deal blunt damage to a monster when using one of those skills.
That's disgusting.
But it's only for lances. And I was like, oh,
so what's
that means there's more for other weapons. Okay, so then here's another one. Supercharge. Insect glaive only. Increases Kinsect damage at the expense of extra damage stamina consumption. So your Kinsects deal more damage.
Nice.
That's cool. That's nice. Here's another one for the dual blades. A decoration that gives weapons for demon rage. When hitting monsters in demon mode, stamina consumption caused by demon mode will be nullified for a very short while.
What?
Stamina consumption nullified. Nice. For the dual blades. We have a stun jewel for the hammer. Nice. Increases your power to induce stun when you hit a monster with a charged attack. So charged attacks stun more. Nice. And then you start thinking, where's the gun lance one?
This is like the mastery skill, like make it really hard to get, but it's like the one that you want to always have in.
These are super easy to get, by the way. Super easy to get.
Oh, really?
Yes, these are like the materials.
See, this is something that's a missed opportunity. That should be the one, like get 100 kills with that weapon in order to get it, and that would encourage people to try other new stuff.
See, this requires sovereign jewels. I have 250 of those, and I already sold a bunch of them for Zenny. So like I have 250 of them. I can craft any of these, and it just requires Amatsu materials, basically. That's it.
Oh, wow.
Points from Amatsu materials.
Okay, you're leading this up really well. Like how bad is the gun lance one?
It's not there. There isn't one. That's the joke.
Is that a mistake?
No, it doesn't exist.
Wait.
Gun lances get nothing.
Wait. How many weapons?
And here's the fun thing. You might be like, okay, well, some of the other weapons don't get. Well, Greatsword and Charge Blade already had one, which is a defense master skill.
I didn't know that.
And Hunting Horn also already has one. Switch Axe also already has one. Dual Blades apparently has 2.
So what weapons are missing one?
Oh, no, wait, we do have one. It wasn't added this update. It's so bad I forgot it exists.
What is it?
It's Wormstake Boost.
Oh, Jesus.
Doesn't actually do anything.
Is there any other weapons? Like, is it like a beautiful thing where you got 4 weapons are going to get the real killer skills in the next update or something? Or they should do it at the same time, though.
I don't know. There's one for bow. There's another one for Greatsword and Charge Blade here too. It's interesting because they involve blocking. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, hey, Gunlance just like eating L's left and right. That's the Gunlance's motto. Taking the L in Gunlance to whole new levels.
I won't even joke at your expenses. That's just sad. If that's how it is.
Hey, look, we got wide shelling buffed, and it was actually a pretty good buff. I will say that. It was a pretty good buff. It's a significant buff for wide shelling, which it needed it because literally nobody was playing wide shelling. Let's just be real. Everybody was playing long and normal. Nobody was playing wide. It was just me in the background going like, wide shelling's fun, guys, I swear. The people were like, stop it.
So they could take out Shaggy, right? It's like, oh man, you better go in there with the wide.
I mean, I don't know. You could probably go in there with any shelling style, but you know, I gotta go and hunt lizards for 50 hours apparently, according to what you're telling me, so that I can get some armor spheres or something. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know any other better way besides, like everyone says, just not do the objectives to get 1 or 2 or 3. It's like fine. I still think that the lizards is probably the fastest way.
Oh, it because most likely is, yeah.
1 hour, 110 spheres was a pretty darn good pot, but it wasn't exactly fun. I got really good at the route though.
I can imagine.
But it's kind of it's just labor and then it's gone in 1 second. It's like, oh, I still have 15 levels to go. Okay, another hour. But yeah, we got to get our hunt on. I'm gonna commit because I know now that I can't max out many sets. So, and I'm not going to play this game that much because I'm just more waiting for Monster Hunter 6. So I think I'm going to make...
a weapon.
Yes, exactly. I had recently committed to playing the Lance on the PC version. And I had the Violet Mizutsune set for that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again.
Embolden is really good, yeah.
I know. Give me a Lance. Let me have that same Guard Lance fantasy, and I will call it my weapon, and I'll stick with it.
The Lance and the Gun Lance together. Yes.
Yes, I know, right? We both got our shields up. It's going to be good. I didn't even think about that. That is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Lance is a good time.
That's going to be it for this segment, which I will somehow edit into the podcast, and hopefully it will be something cohesive. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Check out Title Update 5, man.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Stay strong. Stay safe.
And play Monster Hunter Sunbreak.
That was very enthusiastic.
I didn't know what to say.